Okay, so we are recording. I'm going to try and put this up on YouTube also. So, for everyone who is joining us from YouTube, know that I am streaming now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I wanted to be clear on that, and I don't think I got the message to a lot of people. So I apologize for that. But I do stream on every Tuesday and Thursday night, or I try to. That is 8:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, Eastern Standard Time, and then 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. And I apologize, it's such a weird schedule, but it is literally the only time that I have to do such things. Okay. All right. So, that out of the way. Are people generally excited about this set? Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm gonna dedicate a stream to CV. The thing is, I don't know. My Magic the Gathering Arena, you're not really excited. My Magic the Gathering Arena client always hates updating, so we'll see. We'll see when I'll be able to get on and actually do it. I don't know yet. I haven't seen. I've only seen very few of these cards, so we're gonna do a whole thing. So let's do it. So we're just gonna go straight from number 1 to number 277. Benicio chumps. You're waiting to see how blood tokens work in reality. Ooh, what are blood tokens? We're gonna have to find out. All right, Adamant Will. This one's, I've seen this one before. This is a reprint, right? Creature gets +2/+2 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Surefine. Angelic Quartermaster, a 3/3 angel soldier for 5 flying. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter onto each of 2 other target creatures. Excellent draft card. Little too expensive right now, I think, for anything else other than that. Arm the Cathars. Until end of turn, target creature gets +3/+3, up to 1 other target creature gets +2/+2, and 1 has +1/+1, and the creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. Another excellent draft card. But I don't think you're going to see it anywhere else. Bride's Gown. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. It has additional +0/+2 in first strike as long as an equipment named Groom's Finery is attached to a creature you control. Dude, this is so stupid. So stupid. I mean, whatever. I mean, at least it's white. Hopefully Groom's Finery is also white. Because it's, or red. It's gotta be white or red, right? Because if it's not, then white and red are like the equipment sets, or the equipment colors. There is a counter spell that's cheaper than against Foretell. Is it? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Alright, by invitation only, a sorcery for 5. Choose a number between 0 and 13. Each creature sacrifices that many creatures. I mean, each player sacrifices that many creatures. Okay. So it's a board wipe? What? This seems so stupidly specific. I'm not quite sure I understand. I don't quite understand why it doesn't just say, are you going to have more than 13 creatures on the board? I mean, you could. Of course you could. But, okay. Sure, it's a board wipe. It's fine. It's just a regular white board wipe. Cemetery Protector. Human Soldier 3/4 for 4. Flash. When Cemetery Protector enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. When you play a land or cast a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, create a 1/1 white human creature token. That's cool. So this protects against flashback, I guess. I am happy that it is a white flash spell, because I really like non-blue flash. Very cool. I like it. It's a very specific card, isn't it? I mean, I don't think it's going to change the meta or anything, but I do like that it's a white flash card that is, like, decent. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card. So you can exile a land, then play lands. It's interesting. Circle of Confinement, an enchantment for 2. I heard that enchantments are a thing. When Circle of Confinement enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until it leaves battlefields. When an opponent casts a vampire spell with the same name as the card exiled with Circle of Confinement, gain 2 life. Okay, so specifically vampire removal, but also it's not terrible. It's like, you know, Banishing Light for 2 that only hits values 3 or less. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know if vampire is going to be a thing, but it's a fine card. Dawnheart Geist, a 1/3 Spirit Warlock for 2. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 2 life. Yeah, enchantments. So is it a deck? I don't know. We'll have to see whether enchantments, there are enough good enchantments or enchantment synergies. So far, this is good. This is what you kind of want with an enchantment deck, because they're kind of control-y, right? Alright. Distracting Geist. Whenever Distracting Geist attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Disturb for 5. Clever Distraction. Enchant creature. Whenever... An enchanted creature has whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Oh, okay. So it's like an enchantment instead of a creature that comes back. Is this good though? No? No, I would have to say this isn't good. But it is an enchantment. It's tempo, kind of. No, I don't like it. Not a fan. Good and limited. But I mean, plenty of this stuff is going to be good and limited. Jog Skull and Infantry, a 2/2 Spirit Soldier for 2, Disturb 4. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. If it would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, exile. Okay, sure, fine. Like, yeah, okay, maybe in an enchantment deck, I guess. Estwald Shield Basher, a 4/2 Human Soldier for 4. When Estwald Shield Basher attacks, you may pay 1. If you do, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Another just like filler common. It's fine. Like this is really good in limited, because it's like a 4/2, which is pretty good power, right? That can become indestructible. Seems pretty good. You have to pay it at a specific time though, which can be bad. Because you can't pay the indestructible cost in response to something. You have to decide when it attacks to give it indestructible. Faithbound Judge, a 4/4 Spirit Soldier for 3. Defender Flying Vigilance. Okay. Defender's not so great, but at the beginning of your upkeep, if Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it, put a judgment counter on it. As long as Faithbound Judge has 3 or more judgment counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Okay, so you get it out at 3. It's a good blocker, but it can't attack for until turn 6. If it has 2 or fewer. So 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Sinner's Judgment. Enchant player. Ooh, it's a curse. Curses! At the beginning of your upkeep, put a judgment counter on Sinner's Judgment. Then, if there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, enchanted player loses the game. Shit, son! Okay. I mean, if there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, it like, just sacrifice this creature, right? Wait. No, okay, you have to disturb it. Okay, it's disturbed for 7. Okay, never mind. The disturb cost is huge. I guess that makes sense. So, ramp and mill? Mill ramp? Mill ramp, I think, right? Fierce Retribution. Instant for 2, cleave for 6. If you cast the spell for its cleave cost, you may cast the spell for its cleave cost. If you do, move the words in square brackets. Destroy target attacking creature. That's awful. That's an awful card. This is like showing you how cleave works, I guess, but it's... I mean, destroy target attacking creature, whatever. That's fine and limited. But to pay, you have to pay 6 to just destroy a creature. I guess in white, that's kind of rare, but this seems awful. do not like. Fleeting Spirit, a 3/1 spirit for 2. And for a white, exile 3 cards from your graveyard. It gains first strike until end of turn. Discard a card, exile Fleeting Spirit, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, interesting. Discard a card. Beginning of the next end step. That's cool. I think this is good, right? This seems okay, because you could block with it and then just discard a card, and if you're playing with, you know, flashback or whatever, you're not necessarily losing anything. The exile 3 cards from your graveyard part is weird, though. That seems very expensive to give it first strike, so I don't know about that part. And it doesn't have any kind of, like, evasion or anything, so I don't know. Good evening, Jeff the Goonie. How are you? Yeah, the meta is very boring right now, Firewater. Alvarin sucks. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Griff Rider. If there was ways of getting rid of cards that were in exile, you know? Like, there was a card that did it for adventure cards that were in exile. They need something like that for, like, Foretell or whatever. Alright, so we got a 2/1 flying training for 3. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay. That seems fine. Training, okay. It's just like, it's expensive, but I mean limited, right? Because it's got flying and it can get bigger, so it's fine. We got another Griffwing Cavalry, so a 2/2 human knight for 4. Flying training. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2. If you do, target creature without flying gains flying until end turn. Cool. That is good and limited. That is good and limited. Hallowed Hunting. As long as you control 7 or more enchantments, creatures you control have flying and vigilance. Yes, enchantments! Oh my god, I love enchantments. They are my favorite card type, so I will be making an enchantment deck. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a white spirit cleric creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control. Dude. I like this card. It's a little expensive, but I like it. I have to keep track of all of the good enchantments. Okay. Heroine of Hope, a 2/3 flyer for 4. If you would gain life, gain that much +1 instead. Okay, life gain. Great. Heroine of Hope gains lifelink until end. Great. Wonderful. Heron Blessed Geist, a 3/3 spirit for 5 flying. For 4, exile a Heron Blessed Geist from your graveyard. Create 2/1/1 spirit creature tokens with flying. Activate only if you... Okay, so that's kind of garbage. Even in limited, I think that's kind of meh. Hopeful Initiated. A 2/1 for 1 with training. Ooh. Remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Ooh. Oh, this card's good. I like this one. I think this will find its way into plenty of white weenie decks. Indeed. Because it's a 1-drop that gets bigger, and then it does stuff, right? Pretty good. Katilda! I guess Katilda died. A Spirit Warlock, an XX Spirit Warlock or a star Spirit Warlock for 3. Flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires. Katilda Dawnheart Martyr's power and toughness are each equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. Ooh! Most excellent! It will go into our spirit deck, or our enchantment deck, which might also end up being a spirit deck, it seems like. Katilda's Rising Dawn. An aura. Enchanted creature has flying, lifelink, and protection from vampires. It gets +X/+X, where X is the number of spirits. Okay, so it's basically plus Katilda, right? Disturb for 5. Okay. Now, is there any good aura creature at this stage in the game? I wonder. Olivia killed her in the lore. Okay. Got it. Oh, was it the Midnight Ambush? Cool, cool. Kindly Ancestor, a 2/3 lifelink spirit for 3 with Disturb 2. Disturb is cheaper. Ancestor's Embrace. Enchant creature has lifelink. Okay. So it looks like they're doing, instead of Disturb coming back as creatures, they're coming back as enchantments now. Ooh, Boros Cleave, eh? Lantern Flare, instant for 2, cleave for a Boros, X. Lantern Flare deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. X is the number of creatures you control. Or X. Target creature or planeswalker. Okay. Great. This is this good? Is this good? No? No. Unless you're just straight up white weenie and you have a lot of dudes. So yeah, I guess in white weenie decks it's okay. Target creature or planeswalker. But I don't know if this is good in a Boros deck. I mean, it's not even a win more card, right? Because it only deals damage to creatures or planeswalkers. So if you wanted to kill something like a Katilda, right? You'd have to pay like 5 for this or something. I mean, just put in a frickin' the inspection one, right? The inspection one, the one with Soren on the front, where he's like looking in a coffin. He's like, oh, "Where's that?" That one. Put that in there instead. Investigate. I mean, it lets the opponent investigate, but it's like way easier to do what you want to do, you know? All right. Militia Rallier, a 3/3 human soldier for 3. It can't attack alone, but whenever it does attack, untap target creature. Okay, whatever. It's a very whatever card. Nibblegast Beguiler, a 2/5 tap target creature for 5 spirit. Yeah, sure. Filler, Nurturing Presence, enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature enters the battlefield under your control. I'm sorry, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. When it enters the battlefield, create a white spirit creature token with flying. So, this is bad. Even in an aura deck, this is bad, right? Because it just like gives a creature +1/+1 and makes a spirit. So. Allenbach Escort, a 1/1 vigilance for 1. Human cleric. Sacrifice Allenbach Escort. Target creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. Oh, this wants to be good. This wants to be good, and I just don't know if it is. Because, like, there aren't very many +1/+1 there aren't very many +1/+1 counter interactions here. I mean, there is the one that we just saw, right? Hopeful Initiate, and then there is the cleric that gives +1/+1 counters every day. Doggo. Yeah. Basically just training. Well, there's the luminous, the cleric that gives +1/+1 counters. So there is stuff. I don't know if white needs anything. Honestly, I don't know if this is better than other white stuff that white can play. I think it actually might be. I think it might be. There's an enchantment which turns all creatures with +1/+1 counters into angels. Ooh, can't wait to see that one. That's not the one that we passed, is it? No. Okay. All right. Anyway, this could be good, but I'm not sure if it's better than what white is already playing. Panicked Bystander, a 2/2 human peasant for 2. Whenever Panicked Bystander or another creature you control dies, you gain 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, transform Panicked Bystander. Cackling Culprit, a 3/5. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, you gain a life, so that still exists, and then it gains Death Touch until end turn. Okay. This is interesting lore. Okay, okay. So he's like a murderer? A serial killer? Okay. Hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, if you're playing a life gain deck, that seems decent, right? So it's like a 3/5 for 2. Is there any way that you can turn it on turn like 2 or 3? I'm sure you can do it on turn 3, right? Because you could just revitalize or whatever it is. But a boy who cried wolf and he was the wolf. Yeah, maybe he's the meat hook massacre. Yeah. Parish Blade Trainee, a 1/2 human soldier for 2 with training. When it dies, put counters on target creature control. Okay, that's decent. For limited, like I can't imagine like any of this kind of chaff. This is just chaff, really, right? Piercing Light deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Scry 1. Sideboard at best. Sideboard at best. But it's nice that it's nice and cheap. I like that. Radiant Grace. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has vigilance. When enchanted grace creature dies, return Radiant Grace to the battlefield transformed. Creature's enchanted player controls enters battlefield tap. This is a great card. This is a great card. If you're gonna be, if the enchantment deck is like a creature aura deck, then this is an awesome card for it. Unless, of course, you're playing against control. And even the control decks have creatures nowadays. Like ravens or whatever, but I suppose it won't matter for ravens, but for like Elrond's Epiphany, but I still like this. And it's a curse, right? So like right now we only have one card that uses curses, right? And it's Curse of Surveillance. I'm interested to see how a curse deck would look. I like it. Me gusta. All right. Resistance Squad, a 3/2 human soldier for 3. When Resistance Squad enters battlefield, if you control another human, draw a card. Okay. I don't think it's going to make it into any meta or anything like that, but that's like cool. That's fine. That's good. Decent. Solid 3 out of 5 stars. Sanctified. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 3 life. That might be used. Or that's probably a pretty good sideboard card. This is nice art, though. Gorgeous art. I like that. Savior of Allenbach. A 1/2 human soldier for 3 with training. When Savior of Allenbach trains, exile up to 1 other target creature from the battlefield or creature card from a graveyard. When Savior of Allenbach leaves the battlefield, put the exiled cards in the battlefield under their owner's control. Wow. That's cool. This is an awesome card. What the fuck? We have seen our first absolute bomb. Savior of Allenbach. So not only is this a removal spell, sort of, right? And the removal spell in a way that Brutal Cathar is a removal spell, right? But it's also a just get stuff from the graveyard from your side, and then that stuff gets into play when he dies. Like, that's correct, right? That's how I'm reading it. Whenever Savior of Allenbach trains, exile up to 1 other target creature from a battlefield or from a graveyard. It's your own graveyard. This is way better than Cathar. I mean, Cathar is a great card. Cathar is a great card. But if you have any kind of like self-mill, like, it doesn't even give a shit what the mana cost is. It doesn't care about the mana cost. Just like, whatever. Creature card. Like, big fat creature card. Yeah, it's all upside. Except for, I mean, it's a 1/2. Which I suppose isn't bad, right? Because it's got a train. I suppose if it had a higher power, then it would not be able to train very much. This seems quite good. Quite good. Blood tokens, which let you discard for 1. Alright, well, I mean... So there's like the not foretell card. The white-blue draw 2, discard 2 flashback card, right? Which you could do on turn 2 to put something big in the graveyard. You get like something with a 2/1 out on turn 1. There's a 2/1. The white turn 2/1. You get that on turn 1. You, like, get something in the graveyard on turn 2. And then you get this guy on turn 3. And I suppose, so at the turn 4, you have to take advantage of it on turn 4. Unless you can find a way to give it haste. Or something like that. Just exile another savior from the yard with it? Ooh. Then you just have, like, rolling saviors. Dude. I like it. I like it. This is a good card. You will see this card. Okay. This might actually help bring mid-range into things, right? So instead of you just seeing a bunch of, like, Elrond's control and white weenie in green, you might see more mid-range with this card, which will be fun. I'm excited to see more of this stuff. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Sagardas Imprisonment. A aura for 3. Enchant creature can't attack or block. And then you can exile it and create a blood token. An artifact with 1 tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Okay. It's madness and... There's no madness, right? Anyway. Sagardas summons. Enchantment. For 6. Oh, is this the one? Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have base power and toughness 4/4, have flying, and are angels in addition to their other types. This looks like fun. This is so fucking expensive. This is going to be jank. This will be a jank deck for sure. That's not meta, but whoo doggy, whoo doggy. There's 1 madness in the creature in the commander decks. I'm not doing the commander review because I don't play enough commander, but... Supernatural Rescue. An aura for 4. The spell has flash as long as you control a spirit. Whenever you cast a spell, tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. Enchant creature you do control, it gets +1/+2. That's a lot of shit for just this card. That's not great. Not good. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Yep. It's a Thalia. It is a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Works great with the Savior of Ollenbach. Works great with the Savior of Ollenbach. Alright. Traveling Minister. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. You gain a life. Activate only as a sorcery. I'm not a fan of all of this life gain trigger stuff coming back. I don't like life gain decks. I've never liked life gain decks, so I'm seeing a lot of life gain triggers. I'm not sure about this one. Oh yeah, Thalia will see play. Thalia will see all of the play. Twinblade Geist, a 1/1 double striker for 2. A double striker in standard. Ooh. With artifacts, with enchantments, auras, and equipment. Hot tamales. And let me guess, it gives double strike. Enchanted creature has double strike. And it's not expensive either. This is definitely in your aura deck. Your aura enchantment deck. Yes, please. Now we just need, like, a creature with trample. We've only seen, like, half of the white cards, though, so I'm not... There's probably a bunch of stuff. A bunch of aura stuff in other colors, so we'll have to see what the enchantment deck wants to be, right? That 1/1 double striker for 2 is only in Best of 1. So it's not technically in standard, right? It's in the starter kit or whatever. It's in the Magic the Gathering starter kit. So I don't count that as being, like, truly in standard. Like, if you were to go... It is? One moment. Lies! Never mind. You're right. You're right, there is one. I was thinking of Fencing Ace. Core Blade Master. You were right. You are right. I was wrong. Okay. Unholy Efficient. Well, okay, so it is better because it disturbs and then creates itself an aura. Yeah. Core Blade Master did see a little play. Yeah. The Boros equipment decks, right? Unholy Efficient. Vigilance Vampire Cleric 2/1 for 1. Put a counter on it. Nah. Nah. Chaff. Valorous Stance. Instant for 2. Choose 1. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn or destroy target creature with a toughness 4 or greater. I mean, that might be fine, right? If you're like playing an aura deck, it's good to have something like this. And it also has another use, which is great. So this seems fine. Seems fine in that kind of deck, right? Vampire Slayer, a 2/2 human soldier for 2. When Vampire Slayer deals damage to a vampire, destroy that creature. Okay. Voice of the Blessed, a 2/2 spirit cleric for 2. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has flying and vigilance. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 10 or more counters on it, it has indestructible. I hate everything about this. Fine. Okay, fine. Sure. Just because I don't like life gain decks. Yeah, Pride made new game plus, yeah. Ugh. Yeah. It's removal that isn't always dead, right? And it's also pump that isn't always dead. Or protection that isn't always dead, right? Wedding Announcement. Oh god. Enchantment for 3. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on Wedding Announcement. If you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn, draw a card. Otherwise, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Then, if Wedding Announcement has 3 or more invitation counters on it, transform it. It seems very specific. So it's like a aggro for aggro decks? Wedding Festivity. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Yes. Right. So it's an aggro deck enchantment. So this might actually go in the enchantment deck with like creature auras. We'll have to see. Let's see. I mean, it's an interesting card. I'm not a huge fan of the lore, and it is kind of weird, but like, sure. Nice art though. They are a beautiful couple. Look at this couple. Power couple. So excited that their friends are getting married. Oh my god, I can't believe Olivia and Soren's dad are getting married. Vorinclex isn't standard. And you can get Vorinclex back with this motherfucker. This is like a turn 4 Vorinclex. If you play your cards right. Quite literally. Alright, anyway. Welcoming Vampire. White vampires. We're going back to white vampires, everybody. Haven't seen any of those in a hot minute. A 2/3 vampire for 3, flying. Whenever 1 or more creatures with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Wow. This is a good card. Whenever 1 or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield. Jesus, like White Weenie didn't need more of this. God. Okay. Yeah, she's excellent. She's so welcoming. All right, on to the blue. Alchemist's Retrieval. Cleave 2. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay. This seems decent in certain decks, right? This is great in standard. I mean, limited, right? Protection for your own creature, and also tempo later. Seems good. If Mentor of the Meek was good, yes. Yes. I mean, she's only better than Mentor of the Meek in the way that she has flying, I think. Or was Mentor of the Meek 2/1? Why was Mentor of the Meek not great? Right, because it was even better than this. Because whenever a creature with power 2 or less entered the battlefield under your control, you just drew a card. It wasn't just once each turn. It was a 2/2. Oh, it costs mana to trigger. Okay, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Then she's way better. Way better. Binding Geist. A 3/1 spirit for 3. Whenever Binding Geist attacks, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn and disturbs. So that's the enchantments, yeah? Yeah. Enchanted creature gets -2/-1. -2/-0. Garbage. Garbage. It doesn't even have flying. Biolume Egg. Uh-oh. Another egg? A serpent egg for 3. Thank you very much, Ryan Sconnard, for the subscription. 4 months. It's been a long 4 months. Alright, Serpent Egg is a 0/4 for 2. I'm sorry, for 3. Defender. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. When you sacrifice Biolume Egg, return it to the battlefield. Transformed under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And it's a 4/4. Sacrifice 2 islands. Biolume Serpent can't be blocked this turn. Yeesh. I don't like that. That's not good. Like, you have to build a deck around this. And maybe there is a deck to be built around this, but ugh. Ugh. Have I heard about the new community patch for Quest for Glory 4? I have not. I have not. That sounds exciting. Community patch? When? I think my light's still a little bright here. Cemetery Illuminator, a 2/3 spirit for 3, flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from the graveyard. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Once each turn, you may cast a spell from the top of your library if it shares a card with the type. If it shares a card type with a card exiled with Cemetery Illuminator. Ooh. That is quite good. It's out now. It fixes bugs and restores some cut content. Oh. There's a Quest for Glory subreddit? Of course there is. Oh, that's exciting. I'll have to take a look. Oh, thank you. It's very comfy. This is a good card. Cemetery Illuminator. I wonder if Spirit's a thing. Probably not, right? But this is a good card. Definitely a good card. Chill of the Grave. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a zombie. Tap target creature. It doesn't untap during controller's next untap step. Draw a card. Whatever. This is a very whatever card. Cobbled Lancer. A 3/3 for 1. Ooh. As an additional cost to cast the spell, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Okay. Exile Cobbled Lancer from your graveyard. Draw a card. Yeah, it's pretty bad, actually. I mean, it's a... this is good for certain, like, mill decks, I guess? Zombie decks, right? It is a 3/3 for 1, but you're not going to be able to get it out on turn 1, like, ever. Is there any way that you could get this out on turn 1? A horse deck. Horse deck, yes. I mean... Is it a horse? I feel like that should not be a horse. It's obviously a centaur. Yeah, getting this out on turn 1 would be very... I don't even think it's possible. You would need your opponent's cooperation to get it on turn 1. And you would have to be going second, right? So they'd have to go first. You'd have to discard... They'd have to make you discard a creature card, which isn't possible, right? That's impossible. Because the turn one discard doesn't target creatures. So yeah, I don't think, yeah, so not great. Maybe it's good in particular zombie decks that you're building, but I don't know. There is a 1 mana discard card that can hit creatures? Oh, in this set? Oh, okay. All right. Consuming Tide. Sorcery for 4. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen this way to their owner's hands. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. Ugh. This just makes Elrond decks even stronger. Like, this is a great, like, 1 of or 2 of in an Elrond deck, right? Like, just fuck all your creatures. Poof. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's good, but I don't like it. All but 1? Yeah, sure. But they're all, like, weenies, so who cares? I guess, right? Ugh. I don't like it. I mean, it's a good card, but I don't like it because it's blue. Because I don't like blue. It feels very much like Thoughtseize without it being Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, we'll have to take a look. I mean, I imagine it's in black, right? We'll get there. Cradle of Safety. I can't decide whether I hate or like this art. I can't decide whether I think it's cute or I hate it. Anyway. Flash. Enchant creature you control. When Cradle of Safety enters the battlefield, enchanted creature gains hexproof until end of turn and it gets +1/+1. Not great. I mean, it's good for the enchantment deck that you might want to make someday, if you want to make it a blue one. The enchantment aura deck. However, it just gives hexproof until the end of turn, which is not really what you want. But I suppose, it's, yeah, it might. If there's no other way of giving your creature protection or hexproof or whatever, then this might be your best bet, but probably not. Probably not. Cruel Witness, a 3/3 bird horror. Ooh, look at this. This thing's like straight out of The Last Door. A bird horror for 4. Flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Okay, so Surveil. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil. But not Surveil. It's very Secret Larry art. Yeah, it is a little bit. Like, that's actually somebody's baby. That is a picture of somebody's baby who, like, works at Wizards of the Coast. Which is creepy. Babies are creepy. Babies are creepy. Alright, anyway. Diver Scab. A 3/5 zombie for 5 exploit. Okay, when this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When Diver Scab exploits a creature, target creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Ooh. Well, that sounds janky. That sounds janky. You can sacrifice something that's very cheap that you want on the top of your library? With, like, Augur? If you had Augur so you could cast the thing, and it was a creature that bounced other creatures? Like Prince? I don't know. There's jankiness perhaps here. My jank senses are tingling with this one. My jank senses are tingling. We'll see. We'll see. Is it good? No, I don't think this is good, but the jank might be strong with this one. Not sure. The jank is mediocre with this one. Dreadlight Monstrosity, a 5/5 crab horror. Oh boy. Look at that thing. That thing's horrifying. For 6, ward 2. Dreadlight Monstrosity can't be blocked this turn. Activate only if you own a card in exile. Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting card. It's awful, but it's interesting. And could very well be game ending in limited. Is it game ending card in limited? If you have a card in exile? It's a solid meh. Yeah, maybe. It looks like it's part of this. It looks like it consumed a lighthouse, right? So it's like a chasm fiend with like a lighthouse as a head. That's what it looks like to me. All right, Dream Shackle Geist, a 3/1 spirit for 3. Flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one. Tap target creature, or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Nice. That is a solid spirit. It's got flying. I mean, it doesn't pass the vanilla test. It's very weak, but it doesn't have to attack in order to do the thing that it wants to do. So it's like, it's not bad. Is it great? But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's trying to be a lighthouse to lure people. It doesn't rely on bioluminescence. The lighthouse is its bioluminescence. If your draft deck needs a curved topper, it'll do. I agree. I mean, there's spirit synergy. There is a card that gives spirits +1/+1, so it exists. I don't think the bird spirit is in standard anymore, right? The bird spirit's not in standard anymore, is it? No. Imperial Eagle rotated out. So, yeah, I mean... Yeah. But there's still the other one. There's another one that gives spirits +1/+1, but I don't know if tribal is like a thing. Tribal's a thing just for fun. It doesn't really get in the meta at all. Except for, like, goblins or whatever. Or elves, I suppose. Humans, maybe. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that statement is just straight wrong. We'll see. We shall see. Fear of Death. An enchantment. An aura for 2. When Fear of Death enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards. Enchanted creature gets -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Meh. Super meh. Geistlight Snare. An instant for 3. The spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a spirit. It also costs 1 less to cast if you control an enchantment. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Ooh. So this is a spell pierce if you have stuff. So that seems okay. That seems okay, yeah? We'll get spirits in Kamigawa. Are we going to Kamigawa next? I don't even know what's on the docket. Are we going to Kamigawa? Because that would make me so fucking happy. We haven't been to Kamigawa in like 15 years. This seems good in your deck if you're a spirit enchantment deck, obviously. Neon Dynasty? Is that seriously what it's called? Neon Dynasty? Oh my god. Or is that just their... It's seriously Cyberpunk Kamigawa? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Future Kamigawa. Okay. Sure. Geralf, or Geralf, Visionary Stitcher. A 1/4 human wizard for 3. Zombies you control have flying. Oh no! Oh no! For a blue tap, sacrifice another non-token creature. Create an XX blue zombie creature token where X is a sacrificed creature's toughness. Oh no. Geralt? Geralf. So it's Geralf? I don't know, man. Like, Roman literature. Roman freaking alphabet. Hate it. Geralt with a lisp. Geralf. I mean, this is really good for zombie decks. I don't know if it throws zombie into the meta or Dimir into the meta, but this is a good card. It's a great card. Zombies you control have flying. Yeesh. Gutter Skulker, a 3/3 spirit for 4. Gutter Skulker can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. Oh, that's nice. And then the enchanted creature can't be... Yeah, okay, sure. So it's like the same kind of thing going on there. This seems pretty good, honestly. I mean, it's not for the meta, I don't think. Like, limited, it's insane. But this card would be really good, let's say, target for your enchantment stuff. Like, right? So your spirit enchantment deck or whatever it is. You just put a bunch of shit on it. And then it just attacks in and deals a shit ton of damage. I'm interested to see what that deck will look like. Alright, Hullbreak Horror. Another horror. Ooh, a 7/8 Kraken Horror for 7. Flash. Ooh, this spell can't be countered. Whenever you cast the spell, choose up to 1. Up to 1. Okay, return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Oh no. This sucks. I mean, I'm only saying it sucks because it's blue, right? This is a very, very good card. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand. So you just put this in, like, Simic Ramp. Which I suppose isn't Izzet, which is fine, right? I mean, you could put it in Izzet too, so who the fuck cares? You put it in Simic Ramp, and then all of a sudden your opponents can't cast anything. Right? Because you just cast, you put like a, you know, a fight card. You cast this fight card whenever anybody casts anything. It feels like Dimir Flash. What about Azorius Flash? You'd need ramp though. It's very expensive. So I feel like, is Simic Flash gonna come back? This is a great. Well, it doesn't have it. So it doesn't have any evasion, which is its obvious downside. But this is a huge problem. It is a very nasty card. Bant Flash? Ooh, that sounds spicy. I like that. We shall see. This seems like it could be an incredibly good card for like a Simic Ramp top end. Just bonkers. Seems bonkers. Okay. Like, just like, is there an instant ramp? Like, just get instant cards and then just your opponent can never cast anything anymore. Ever. That's fucking so ridiculous. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand whenever you cast a spell. Any spell. Doesn't have to be an instant or sorcery. It can be another flash creature. Ugh. Yeah, and Elrond can play it. Yep. Not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Anyway. Inspired Idea. A sorcery for 3 with cleave for 5. Draw 3 cards. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 3 for the rest of the game. Okay. Weird. It is draw 3 though. Draw 3 for 3. Hell yeah, some Final Fantasy XIV in this playlist. Bam. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I'm listening to music, but it's not being recorded on the video, so you won't be able to tell what I'm listening to. I apologize. Alright. Jacob Hauken, Inspector. A 0/2 human advisor for 2. Draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. You may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled. You may pay 6 if you do. Transform Jacob Hauken, Inspector. Hauken's Insight. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with this permanent without paying its mana cost. What the fuck? I mean, that's a lot, right? It's a lot. You can do this at instant speed. Draw a card. Right. And then you may pay this. So you can do this at instant speed to protect it from removal or whatever, but it is expensive. But then you get to pay, you get to play something for free every turn. So more Simic Ramp. Like, Simic Ramp seems pretty good. Why does everyone here hate on blue? Because it's the top of the meta right now, in my opinion. And I feel like it has been for a really long time. Whenever control is like really on top, uncontested almost, then I'm not a fan of blue. It says no. What says no? Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with this permanent without paying its mana cost. Oh, blue. Blue says yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's basically why most people don't like it. Well, it's basically blue is the color of you don't get to play the game. I get to play the game, but you don't, is usually what blue is. Which is, I think, yeah, that's probably what most people don't like about it. What if a person didn't build their decks with AE? What is AE? Lantern Bearer. A 1/1 spirit for 1, flying, disturb. +1/+1, flying. Okay. Lantern's lift. Look at her. She's so worried. She looks nervous. Yeah, I mean, this is not great, right? It might be good in very specific very specific decks. Like, this might be a really good turn 1 disturb enchantment deck if that's what the enchantment deck ends up being. Like a disturby enchantment deck. And if that's the case, then this is fine. This is fine. It gives something +1/+1 and flying. It's a turn 1 flyer. Get in there. So yeah, this might make it. Oh, Epiphany, yeah. I mean, right now, mostly blue is Epiphany, right? I don't think I've seen any... I mean, I guess maybe Simic Ramp. And they go straight to, like... what's the big world... The world worm thing? The world's... Coma. Which is another, like, not super great fun card to play against, right? Once Coma comes out, you're kind of like, well, fuck everything, I guess. There's been a couple of times where I've defeated Comas. There was one game I had to kill 3 Comas, and I still won. I was very proud of myself. I don't even remember what I was playing, but geez. When Coma comes out, it's like, okay. Awesome. The meaning of the game is fun. This is true. This is true. Lunar Rejection. Instant for 2, cleave for 4, return target creature to its owner's hand. Okay. Draw a card. Not great, because you have to pay its cleave cost for this to be good at all. Right. That is some weird-ass art, too. Mirror Hall Mimic, a 0/0 spirit for 4. You may have it enter the battlefield. It's a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except for that it's a spirit in addition to its other types, and then disturb for 5. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other types. Ooh. That's cool. This is like endgame spirit disturb enchantment aura deck. Seems good. See, the jank is strong with this one. I'll probably see if I can find a deck to make out of that. Mischievous Catgeist. Already the best card in the set. The Mischievous Catgeist. A 1/1 cat spirit for 2. Whenever Mischievous Catgeist deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh, it's so cute. And then it does the enchantment. Cat-like Curiosity. She's playing Cat's Cradle. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Nice. So it's like Curiosity. Oh, it's so fucking cute. Look at this fucking cute picture. Necro Duality. This reminds me of, what's that crazy kind of horror action movie from many years ago? Lavino, thank you for the 5 months. How are you tonight? What am I thinking of? It's that one with a dude who's got like a chainsaw for an arm. That's what this reminds me of. Whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. I mean, anything that's this expensive is not very good, in my opinion. Unless it, like, does something immediately when it comes out. And since this doesn't, then this probably isn't very good. The Evil Dead. Evil Dead. That's the one. Yeah, I don't think it's very good. There's definitely... They're pushing for a zombie... For, like, zombies. Let's make some zombies. Overcharged Amalgam. Amalgam? 3/3 zombie horror for 4. Flash Flying Exploit. When this creature enters the battlefield, sacrifice creature right. This is the second exploit creature we've seen. When overcharged Amalgam? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Exploits a creature counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. This is good. This is a good card. This is exactly what you want in a kind of like zombie or even just a flash deck. It's not out. Amalgam. Thank you, Jeff. This seems like a really good card though. Obviously you have to build the deck around it where you want to exploit stuff, but there's plenty of good reasons to want to exploit. Oh, it can self-exploit too. That's true. It doesn't have to be another creature. It can be itself. But just the fact that it's like a counter spell on top of a creature. A 3/3 flying creature. Like, that lizard wizard. The lizard wizard was amazing, right? Yeah, you just need decayed zombies. Yeah, this is a good card. This might actually push zombies into being good, like pretty good, right? We have to see what other kind of synergies work with it, but I think this is a great card. Patchwork Crawler, a 1/2 zombie horror for 2. For 3, exile target creature card from your graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Patchwork Crawler. It has all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with it. Whew, doggy. All activated abilities. Okay. So that matters. It's only activated abilities. It's not triggered abilities. So what's like the best thing that you could possibly want with this? I mean, Geralf probably, right? Or Jacob Hauken. Like, sacrifice another non-token zombie creature. I'm sure there's plenty of goods that can be passed around with this. Jeff has a zombie deck going, I think. I mean, how would you not? How would you not have a zombie deck or want to make a zombie deck with some of the stuff that's coming out here? This art is like really disturbing. I do not like this pound of finger flesh that's over here. Anyway, Repository Scab, a 3/3 zombie for 4. Exploit. When it exploits a creature, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Too expensive. Thank you very much for the gifted tier 1 sub to Taysack. Oh, I'm surprised you're not following me anyway. After, like, I'm surprised you're not already subscribed to me. He's a real life friend. We know each other, but that's okay. Thank you for making him a subscriber. Pound of finger flesh, yeah. I mean, that's what it is. If you look at it, it's like just a bunch of knuckles and fucking fingernails. Ugh. Thank you for the follow, Wolfreish. How are you? Everything about holding a community tourney if I reach a certain sub goal. We have had community tourneys before. Both Rowan and Megafly have put on community tournaments for the community, which is amazing. And thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. I will admit I don't really have the time in my life at the moment to do something that requires that much organization. I am literally busy every night and day of my life right now. The only time I have off is Sunday nights, I guess, which I try to spend with my husband. So I would love to do something like that, but I would need help. I would need help from the community. All right, Scattered Thoughts, an instant for 4. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 2 of those cards into your graveyard. I'm sorry, 2 of those cards into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. It's whatever. Draw 2 for 4. It's a little expensive, but it is an instant, so I mean it can do what you want it to do depending on the deck that you want to put it in, right? It's not a useless card. It's not a useless card, but it's just not very good. I like this art, Screaming Swarm. That's an awesome looking piece of artwork right there. Are they just like seagulls that have like horrors in their mouths? Because that's what it looks like. You have a question? I might have an answer for you. Go ahead and ask. Is it cheap to use Faceless Haven and Book of Exiled Deeds to win? Faceless Haven and Book of Exiled Deeds? Oh yeah, Faceless Haven book. Is that the, Wait, which one is it? Exiled Deeds? I don't know this one. Am I spelling this incorrectly? Do I not have it? Oh, Exalted. Exalted. That's the angel one, right? If you gained 3 or more life this turn, wait, exile, put it in lightning counter on target, angel, it gains, you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. Yes. Is it cheap? No. You mean like, is it like unfair? No. I think that's awesome. I think if you could make this work, that's awesome. But it is going to be expensive, right? Because you have to activate your Faceless Haven. Right? So you have to activate your Faceless Haven, and then you have to use this on it and hope that they don't kill your Faceless Haven while you're doing that. But then you can just have it be you can like never make it a creature again, right? You just leave it as a land forever. But I mean, there is like, people put in the destroy, you know, right? People put in Field of Ruin, quite normal. Like, it's very normal for somebody to put Field of Ruin into their deck right now because of Faceless Haven. So you can't guarantee that it won't ever die, but that is still super cool. And I don't think that's cheap. If what you're talking about using cheap as in not the, you know, it's not inexpensive, because it's absolutely not inexpensive, but is it kind of like cheating gameplay, or not cheating gameplay, but that term of cheap, I don't think so. I think that's brilliant. That's why Tyrite Sanctum. Yeah. I mean, go ahead and make it. That is what I would call jank. That is jank. All right, where were we? Screaming Swarm, a 4/4 bird horror for 6. Flying. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, target player mills that many cards. Put Screaming Swarm from your graveyard into your library, second from the top. Interesting. I mean, this is a fucking limited bomb, I feel. I feel like this is a limited bomb. This is a fucking insane card in limited. Holy shit. Like, what? As for not limited, though, I think it's just whatever. There's always going to be people who get rude when something like that is played on them. Like, that's doing something that's not very easy to do. It's creative. Like, how often are you going to see something like that? I can't lose the game because I have this token on one of my lands. Like, yeah, it's not you, it's them. For sure. Yeah, Wolf. So yeah, so like it works on the Haven because it's technically an angel. It's a shapeshifter, which is hilarious. All right, Selhoffen Tumor, a 1/3 zombie for 2. Discard a creature card, draw card. Yeah, sure, fine. That's like in every single set, except for it's a zombie this time. Serpentine Ambush, an instant for 2. Until end of turn, target creature becomes a blue serpent with base power toughness 5/5. That is also a huge problem in limited. This is like a limited game ender, I feel. You have to be on your toes with this one. Other than that, though, it's like whatever. Target creature becomes a blue serpent. Although, there's the bird that allows you to play instants or sorceries from your graveyard for 0. Or, the activated ability is 0 if you cast it on one of your own creatures. You still have to pay the 2 for it, but you'd still be able to play it twice. You'd have to play it on like separate creatures or whatever, or maybe just one turn after another one. It's not a good card, but my mind can't help but go to janky areas. Mavinda, that's the one. No, you're not being cheap. No, it's fine. Alright, Skyward Scab, a 2/5 zombie drake for 5. Flying. When Skyward Scab enters the battlefield, you may exile 2 creature cards from your graveyard. If you do, draw a card. Whatever. Not awful. Awful, limited, sure. I guess. Maybe not even, honestly. Maybe not even in limited. Soul Cipher Board. What is this, a Ouija board? It's a Ouija board, but they can't say that. An artifact for 2, Soul Cipher Board enters the battlefield with 3 omen counters on it. For 2 and tapping it, look at the top 2 cards of your graveyard. Put one of them into, or 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your graveyard. Whenever a creature card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, remove an omen counter from Soul Cipher Board. Then, if it has no omen counters on it, transform it. So how many does it get at first? 3. So creature cards. Cipher-bound Spirit, a 3/2 flyer, can only block creatures with flying. Draw 2 cards, discard a card. Nah. Nope. Not very good. Perhaps not even good in limited, unless you're playing like a disturbed deck or whatever. Steelclad Spirit, 3/3 Spirit for 3, Defender. When an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Awful. Still awful. Stitched Assistant, a 3/2 zombie for 3, exploit, scry 1, then draw a card. Awful. Storm Chaser Drake, a 2/1 Drake for 2, flying. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell you control, draw a card. Ooh. Well, that works with the Mavinda stuff that we were just talking about. How am I seeing the new stuff? This is Scryfall. I'm on Scryfall right now. I just have it set up so that it looks nice. I literally go into the code because this is my life. This is what I do. I literally go into the code, I change the body color so that it's not like blinding white. And then I just make it really big so that you can see it easier. So I'm not in the game right now. The Bloody Mary mirror is better? Yeah, I think so too. Azorius Spellcraft? It sounds like something that might be fun to play. Hey Rick Sweet, how are you? With Orvar the Ulform, yeah. Yeah. Like, that kind of deck with Mavinda in it, with Orvar, Orvar's a little expensive, but yeah. You're newish to Magic still, so you don't understand what different decks are like. What's a mono black? Okay, so mono, so whenever somebody puts mono in front of something, that means only that color. So mono black means only black. No other colors in that deck. It's a mono black deck. So you can have mono blue, you can have mono green, mono white, mono red. Yeah. All right, syncopate. Oh, it's syncopate. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it to owner's graveyard. Grand. Syncopate. Haven't seen that one in a hot minute. So white and black and blue is called Esper. Esper. If you don't know all the names for all the color combinations, that's fine. If you play Magic for long enough, it's just easier to say, it's this, it's blah. I like Syncopate too, even though it's a counterspell. I like how it works as a counterspell, and I like how old it is. This is a very old card. Syncopate's been around forever, and it's just good to see some of the old ones crop up again. Siphon Essence, an instant for 3. Counter target creature or planeswalker spell, create a blood token. I don't think that will ever be played. Thirst for Discovery, an instant for 3. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a basic land card. Well, that seems pretty good, actually, to me. No, actually, no, never mind. Usually you can draw 2 cards. Usually you can draw 2 cards for 3. But it is an instant. Normally you can't draw 2 cards for 3 at instant speed. And this might be good for certain decks that want stuff in their graveyard. So yeah. Thirst is great. Do I ever play with viewers? I don't. I do not play with viewers. Maybe for a special occasion someday I might. But I normally just like build janky decks and then just play them. If I come across a viewer in like my travels, then yeah. Yeah, we have a Discord. So it looks like Jeff banged the Discord there. So the Discord has a wonderful community. My community is awesome. I love all my peeps. And they're very active, and people stream in there all the time and love to play against each other. So I don't have a lot of time. I'm a very busy person. And that's not because of my Magic stuff. That's just one of the many things that I do. But anyway, I digress. All right. Wanderlight Spirit, a 2/3 spirit for 3. Flying. Wanderlight Spirit can block only creatures with flying. Whatever. Wash Away for 1. An instant for 1. Cleave for 3. Counter target spell that wasn't cast from its owner's hand. Ooh. Oh, hello. So this is counter Elrond's Epiphany for 1. It's an Epiphany blowout. But the thing is, unfortunately, I don't, with the copy spell, right? So the Is It Epiphany, where you can copy the next spell, this doesn't count. Right? You need it to have like some sort of whirlwind effect or something. And that's one of the reasons why I hate the copy of Elrond's Epiphany deck. Because you cannot counter it unless you have 2 counter spells. Because you have to counter it and the copy. So anyway. I don't think this will be played very much. What else do people play from exile right now other than Elrond's Epiphany? Like, if an Elrond wants... This will be like an Elrond... This is going to be a sideboard for Elrond decks to play against other Elrond decks. Right? That's kind of how I feel that this is gonna work out. Personally. You think it'll be played a lot? Forecast counts as exiled. Yes, it does. Right, because if you forecast it, right? Or foretell it, right? Foretell it. Or is forecast something different? Foretell is the one where you pay 2 and then you exile the card. And then when you play it from exile, then you can counter it with wash away like this. It's a 3 mana counter spell. I mean, yeah, sure. It is a 3 mana counter spell and possibly a less than 3 mana counter spell. So you're probably right. It probably will see plenty of play. But it's a blue card, right? So it takes care of, I mean, I can't, what are the other cards that are being played from exile right now? Like, not much, yeah? Or it's not even exile, it's owner's hand. So this is stuff like from graveyard too. So like disturb, it'll get rid of disturb stuff. If you're playing it from the top of the library, so like augur. I don't know what else allows you to play stuff from the top of the library. Hey, the corn boy, what's up? It goes well. We are almost all the way through blue in Crimson Vow. We're just talking about wash away. We're one, like, it seems, I don't think it's too amazing. I just feel like, it's good against Epiphany, and that's kind of it. The Is It draw 2 exiles? Yeah. There are other cards that exile, right? That's right, the Is It draw 2 does exile. You're correct. But usually that exiled card is a land in my experience. I think it'll see play. I think you're right. It will see play, but I'm probably not going to play very much. Whispering Wizard, a 3/2 human wizard for 4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once each turn. It's like a worst Murmuring Mystic. It's like a worse Murmuring Mystic. Winged Portent. I like that art. Very cool art. An instant for 3. Cleave for Simic. Ooh, 6 Simic. That's cool. Draw a card for each creature with flying you control. Nah. I don't think this is good. I mean, is Azorius Flyers gonna come back or something along those lines? Or maybe it's Dimir. It's not Dimir Flyers, right? I haven't looked at all the other colors. I don't think this is good. I do not think so. But if there is, like, if a flying aggro deck is coming out in this is gonna be in it. There is better card draw for blue out there. Like the flashback one, right? That's all you need for card draw in a blue deck, I feel. Witness the Future, a sorcery for 3. Target player shuffles up to 4 target cards from their graveyard into their library. You look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put one of those cards into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Well, that does a lot of stuff. But basically, it's pay 3 to draw 1. That's basically all that it is. Yeah. Pay 3, draw 1. So, not great. Wretched Throng, a 2/1 zombie horror for 2. When Wretched Throng dies, you may search your library for a card named Wretched Throng, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. This is an excellent card, especially for, what is it called? Exploit. This is like the perfect exploit card. That art is fucking horrifying, and I hate everything about it. And it might make me not want to ever play this card, even though it's good. Oh my god. Look at this fucking art. It makes me sick just looking at it. The flavor. Blah. Belstad Cather Recruit's last words. Ugh. A lot of great zombie builds coming up for sure. I think you might be right. We've seen a lot of really good zombie cards here. I think all of the pieces might be in play. Might be in place, rather. Now, Jeff. It's not that I don't play blue. I play blue when it's fun. I just don't consider things like, oh, you wanted to do that thing? Wait, no, you can't do that thing. I'm sorry. Oh, you wanted to do... Oh, I'm sorry. You can't do that thing. Oh, wait, you wanted to take your turn? I'm sorry. I'm actually going to take 3 turns in a row and then kill you before you get to take another turn. And only blue does that. Only blue does that shit. White and black is Orzhov. White and black is Orzhov. Named after a church on Ravnica. Aim for the head. All right, so we're done with blue. We're on to black. Aim for the head. This is kind of funny art. Okay. Exile target zombie or target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand. Oh, that's interesting. Exiles cards from their hand. Not a good card, but interesting. Archghoul of Thraben. A 3/2 zombie cleric for 3. When Archghoul of Thraben or another zombie you control dies, look at the top card of your library. If it's a zombie card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Well, that's pretty good, but I'm not sure. We're seeing a lot of really good zombies, and I'm not sure if this takes the zombie cake. But it's good. Like, this does stuff in a zombie deck, you know? Bleed Dry. Target creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile instead. Whatever. Just another get rid of target card for 4 instant. It won't be played. It won't be played, but it's, you know, it's fine removal and limited, obviously. Blood Fountain. When Blood Fountain enters the battlefield, create a blood token. Sacrifice Blood Fountain. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. I don't think this is good at all, right? Unless blood tokens is like a thing. Cool art though, I like the art. Blood Crazed Socialite, a 3/3 vampire for 4 with menace. When it enters the battlefield, create a blood token. When Blood Crazed Socialite attacks, you may sacrifice a blood token. If you do, it gets +2/+2 until end turn. Wow, it just got really cold in here, and I think that's because my husband came home and like left a door open. My feet are freezing. Anyway, Bloodsworn Squire, a 3/3 vampire soldier for 4. Discard a card. Bloodsworn Squire gains indestructible until end turn. Tap it. Then, if there are 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform it. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Bloodsworn Knight gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. I mean, this is an excellent limited card. It gains indestructible. And you can, this is instant speed. It's a little expensive, honestly, but and this might not be better than being a 3/3, right? So I don't know how I feel about this. Actually, I don't think it's, I mean, I think it's decent in limited. You have to discard a card, which sucks. I don't think this is good. I do not think that this is good. Bloodvial Purveyor, a 5/6 vampire for 4. Wow, 5/6 for 4. Flying Trample. Okay, wait. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player creates a blood token. Whenever a blood vial purveyor attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each blood token defending player controls. Dude, what? That seems exploitable. Can you Pithing Needle a blood token? Or is that only a card? I'm actually not sure on that one. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at that one. It has to be a card name, so you can't do it just for tokens. Is there a way you can prevent activation abilities on tokens? Because this is a fucking 5/5 flying trampler for 4. This is a problem. This card is a huge problem. I mean, even with this drawback, I feel like it's incredibly good. War Karn prevents activation. So a historic with Karn. This is a sick card, dude. This is just like, you play this on turn 4, you've won your limited match. But even not, like, just a 5/6 flying trampler for 4 is fucking insane, I feel. I don't think this drawback is bad enough. And like, the drawback even gives it more power? Like, this is an insane card in my opinion. This card is just really good. Okay. Catapult fodder. Moving on. That's a hilarious card. Look at that picture. This picture is hilarious. It's got a lot of Space Quest vibes going on here. A 1/5 zombie for 3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures that have toughness greater than their power, transform catapult fodder. Catapult Captain. A 2/6 zombie. So 3 and tap it, sacrifice another creature. Target opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. That's got jank written all over it. I've got a crab I want you to throw. Dude. I mean, this seems jank. This seems pretty janky. Is there a 113 zombie? I mean, just like Concealing Curtains. Look at this thing. A 0/4 for 1. Crab is in standard still? Oh man. Catapult Captain Jank, everybody. Let's do it. Alright. Cemetery Desecrator. A 4/4 zombie for 6. Menace. When Cemetery Desecrator enters the battlefield or dies, exile another card from a graveyard. When you do, choose one. Hold on. When Cemetery Desecrator enters the battlefield or dies, exile a card from a graveyard. Okay, choose one. Remove X counters from target permanent. Where X is the mana value of the exile card. Target creature an opponent controls gets -X/-X, where X is the mana value of the exile card. I mean, this thing's far too expensive. It's far too expensive, but, you know, it does stuff, I guess. This card kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, Cheriks. Let's catapult Cheriks to the face. 13 damage. Bam. Alright, Stunt. Yeah, I mean, plenty of people will be more than happy to give you advice. Concealing Curtains. A 0/4 defender for 1. Transform Concealing Curtains. Activate only as a sorcery. Ooh, a Revealing Eye. A 3/4 Eye Horror with Menace. When this creature transforms into Revealing Eye, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player discards that card, then draws a card. This is a cool card. I like this card a lot. This is such a cool card. The lore, this like, what's going on here is just super cool. I like that a lot. Is it good? I mean, it's a creature for 1 that takes a lot of damage early on and does something later. I think it's a fine creature. I mean, there must be plenty of jank to be had here. They don't fit with the theme of the set? I think they do. I think Innistrad's full of horrors, right? I mean, what's-her-face is still here, isn't she? Emrakul? Emrakul's still here. Hey, Mega! Back so soon, Cookie Face. Yeah, Emmy's still here. So, I mean, there's horrors abound, I imagine. Like, that wasn't too long ago, was it? So, Mega, if you're on Discord, right, you should give yourself the stream role, right? So, I have roles for streams and stuff, right? So, if you want my stream feed, I ping everybody who's in the stream feed as soon as I get on. So if you are on Discord and you're you have a stream feed role in my Discord channel, then you'll be pinged whenever I come online. Because I always do that. Oh, you know that? Oh, okay, well. Then how didn't you know that we were here? Because I did it. No excuses. Alright, Courier Bat. A 2/2 bat for 3, flying. When it enters the battlefield, gain life this turn, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Whatever. Whatever. Just a thing. Thank you for the follow, Daryl Dangero. Très dangereux. Demonic Bargain. A sorcery for 3. Exile top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card. Put that card in your hand, then shuffle? What? Exile the top 13 cards of your library. So it's either a mega shitty demonic tutor, or you can do something with exiled cards. What can you do with exiled cards? What can you do with exiled cards? Mnemonic Betrayal? Mnemonic Betrayal? Kaya does some stuff, right? No, that's only for other players. Mnemonic Betrayal? Nope. Mnemonic Betrayal doesn't do it either. Yeah. Undertale has got some amazing music. The other one does it? Oh, I'm sorry, the other one does it. I wasn't looking at the right one. This one? Or from all the cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. Hold on. I'm pretty sure there's some other things that do this, right? Crackling Drake. Seize the Storm. You could have like a Seize the Storm. No, Foretold cards in exile. Foretold card you have in exile. Like, some things gain benefits from having cards that are in exile. So, oh. People say hi, Mr. Absurd.
Hey.
Did you leave a door open? It's like really cold in here now.
The heat's not on.
No, I know. But like when you came in, my feet like got really cold. Can you just check for me, please?
Oh my god.
Thanks. Just Kai and some Izzet cards? I mean, that seems...
Either of these rooms.
What?
The heat's not on in either of these rooms.
Yeah, I know, because it wasn't cold before. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's like... It's that time of year where it's fluctuating like 40 degrees between day and night.
That's true. That's true.
Jeez.
I got in my car this morning. It was colder in my car than it was outside. Anyway. I believe that there is some jank to be had here. There is some sweet, sweet jank to be had here, I think. Alright. Desperate Farmer. 2/2, human peasant for 3, lifelink. When another creature you control dies, transform Desperate Farmer. Depraved Harvester. Lifelink. Okay. This is not good. Like, this is kind of a shitty... This is a shitty card. But, I mean, it's probably fine and limited. Diregraph Scavenger. What's this? Xanthar Guildpin? What do you... Oh, okay. You're just talking about the deck that you... Okay. Diregraph Scavenger. A 2/3 zombie bear for 4. Look at this bear. This bear is the King of Hearts. Death Touch. When Diregraph Scavenger enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay. There's some jank to be had with that. You like bounce it a lot and kill your opponent. That might be fun. But it's a little too expensive for it to be good for anything, really. Doomed Dissenter. A 1/1 human for 2. When Doomed Dissenter dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Sure. Works with Exploit, I guess. But not that great. Dread Fugue. Dread Fugue. Okay. Isn't that like music? A fugue? A sorcery for 1, cleave for 3. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it with mana value 2 or less. That player discards the card. This is the one you're talking about, right? Good for sacrifice deck? Yeah, for sure. Doomed Dissenter. Actually, this is an old card, isn't it? This card's been around the block. Doomed Dissenter? Right? I like this Dread Fugue. I think it is quite good with mana value 2 or less. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever going to cleave this, but it's good without the cleave, I think. Pretty sure this is good without the cleave. Dreadfast Demon, a 6/6 demon for 7. Flying. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Dreadfast Demon. Jesus. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. So you reanimate this guy, right? You just reanimate this guy. And you can reanimate it with the other one. Sorry for the YouTube. I'm playing music and it's a good song. Yes, amazing in a sacrifice deck, indeed. All right, Dying to Serve. An enchantment. It's a pretty good card. An enchantment for 3. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, I mean, I guess What, that works really well with blood tokens? Whenever you discard one or more cards? It's any card, doesn't have to be a creature card. That seems pretty good. I guess, yeah. Hello, Felipe. What's up? I don't know where this card goes. I don't even know if it's good. It might go well in the zombie deck, but I don't know if there's a lot of discard in the zombie deck, and I think the zombie deck might be full already. This is kind of this is another issue where you have like kind of a win more card, but the zombies are not decayed zombies, which is good. I think there might be multiple zombie decks to be had here. I think there are multiples. It's Necrodonut! What's up? Alright. Edgar's Awakening. Okay, so this is Olivia and Edgar. So Edgar's Soren's dad, right? So a sorcery for 5. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefields. When you discard Edgar's Awakening, you may pay 1 black. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. That's an interesting second ability there. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can get a Dreadfast Demon out 2 turns earlier with this. But it's not that great, right? Reanimation is usually, and this is a reanimation. Reanimation is usually 5, right? Granddad. Sorry, it's Granddad. Orvar who? Might be a good way to hold the board until you reanimate stuff. That's true. Yeah, true. With dying to serve. Uh-huh. I liked Midnight Hunt. What's up with all these nerfing once per turn? I don't know, man. It's like they don't want their cards to be OP or something. It's almost like things can be exploited. Alright, Falconwrath Forebear, a 3/1 vampire for 3. Flying, it can't block. Whenever flying Falconwrath Forebear deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens. Return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh. That's pretty darn good. This works beautifully with that other vampire. Holy shit. If you do this one on turn 2 and then you do the other vampire on turn 3, oof, ouch. Ouch times. What kind of tokens are they? What do you mean? What, the zombie tokens? They're zombie tokens. 2/2 zombie tokens. Oh, blood tokens. So blood tokens are an artifact. Where's another one that has blood tokens? So this one here, down here, we'll go back up in a bit, but this one here has blood tokens written on it, right? Artifacts with 1 and tap it, discard a card, sacrifice the artifact, and draw a card. It's like discard, draw a card token things. They're underwhelming. I mean, I don't think they're supposed to be as crazy as like treasure tokens or food or whatever. And by the way, I thought that food tokens, when I heard about them, were dumb. When I heard about food tokens, I was like, these are so stupid. They're not going to be good at all. And then Oko was a thing. So, you know. They're a version of clue tokens. I think, sure. I mean, they're a token that you can use to do stuff, right? I think blood tokens are fine. I don't think that they're exceedingly powerful, but I also don't think they're bad, especially with the cards that have blood token synergies seem to be pretty good so far, so. Yeah, I think they're fine. Draw 1, discard 1. That is, it's not surveil. Loot. That's loot. Yeah. By the way, hello, Slapdyback Fisty Buns. How are you tonight, darling? It's not cycle. Cycle is discard, draw. So when you draw and discard, it's loot. If you discard, then draw, it's considered rummage? Is that rummage or is that scavenge? Something like that. Something along those lines. Just having dinner? Ooh, what's for dinner? It's written discard a card, then draw a card. Right, but that's not what you said. That's not what you said. When somebody was asking, they said draw and discard. Anyway, cycle's a specific card type. It's discard this card for a cost, right? It's an activated cost. Rummaging is specifically a theme around a card that you have to discard as part of you discard first and then you draw, right? And it's usually in the red color pie. Looting is usually always in the blue color pie, and it's specifically drawing first and then discarding. So anyway, little bit of lore there, and I think rummaging comes specifically from a card that was called Rummage. I can't remember if it's specifically Rummage or Ransack or whatever, but I know it's specifically from a card. It was coined from a card that had it in the name. And I think it was like Merfolk Looter was the reason why it's called looting. Something along those lines. Anyway. Fell Stinger, a 3/2 zombie scorpion with Death Touch exploit, and when it exploits, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Ooh, that seems good. I mean, it's not like an amazing card or anything like that, but in limited, it sure is good. It seems good to me. Gift of Fangs. That's a cool art. I like that. So it's an aura for 1 enchanted creature, gets +2/+2 as long as it's a vampire, otherwise it gets -2/-2. Nice. That seems fine. That's going to be very swingy in limited. You're going to want to make sure that you have vampires to take advantage of that in limited. Gluttonous Guest. I like that art. That is good art. Look at them all looking at her. We're like, what the hell's wrong with this lady? A 1/4 vampire for 3. When Gluttonous Guest enters the battlefield, create a blood token. When you sacrifice the blood token, gain 1 life. Okay, so it's kind of a shitty card, but whatever. Graph Reaver, a 3/3 zombie warrior for 2. Exploit. When Graph Reaver exploits a creature, destroy target planeswalker. Jeez. I think we are keep. It deals 1 damage to you. Sideboard card. Sideboard card, I think. But a very good sideboard card. Especially if you're zombies. Like, if you're zombies, this is, like, beautiful sideboard card. I mean, you might even put it in main if you're zombies, because it's a 3/3 for 2, which is not bad. It's 3/3 for 2 that does something. But it's not really mid-rangey, right? Because it deals the damage to you. But if you're playing zombies, then you can probably find a way to sacrifice it, so I don't know. Sideboard at least, I would say. Sideboard at least. We flossed today. I have not flossed today, but I usually do afterwards anyway, so. 2 mana, sack a creature, destroy a planeswalker. Yes, and also get a creature. Get a 3/3. 2 mana, sack a creature, get a 3/3, destroy a planeswalker. Yeah, no, it's not bad. Is not bad. Or I suppose, yeah, right, it can sacrifice itself. So it would just be like destroy a planeswalker for 2. It's a good card. Grisly Ritual, a sorcery for 6. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, create 2 blood tokens. Nope, that's awful. Groom's Finery, here we are. The match. Groom's Finery. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, an additional +0/+2, and has Death Touch as long as an equipment named Bride's Gown is attached to the creature you control. Like, it's so, like, whatever. Sure, whatever. Headless Rider. I like this art. A 3/1 zombie for 3. Whenever Headless Rider or another non-token zombie you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I mean, they just get better and better. This just gets better and better. Zombies. Like, I don't even know if this is good enough to be in the zombie deck, but it's good. You know? They did the headless rider. Yeah, they did. But he's got heads. This dude has multiple heads. Look at that art. The dude's got at least 5 heads. You can see them right there. Wrath protection. Yep. Yep, wrath protection. You can like exploit stuff and still have more creatures to exploit. So yeah. Good stuff. Henrika Domnathi? Henrika Domnathi. Okay. A 1/3 vampire for 4, flying at the beginning of combat on your turn. Choose one that has been chosen. Each player sacrifices a creature, draw a card, and you lose 1 life, or transform Henrika Domnathi. Henrika Infernal Seer. Flying Death Touch lifelink, 3/4. Each creature you control with flying Death Touch and or lifelink gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. I mean... Oops. Ah, sugar. No. I have to do my stuff. I was doing so well. I like the art. I mean, each player sacrifices a creature, draw 1 and lose life. I don't think this is very good. I don't think she's gonna see any play, honestly. A 1/3 flyer for 4. I mean, she could be a 3/4 flyer for 4 because you can transform her the moment she comes out, right? You can choose when to transform her. I still don't think that she's super great though. Thanks for the cheer, Jeff. Yeah, I don't think she's super great. Hey, Steve. What's up? Hero's Downfall. An instant for 3. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Sure, whatever. Typical. Innocent Traveler. A 1/3 human for 4. At the beginning of your upkeep, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If no one does, transform Innocent Traveler. Malicious Invader. A 3/3 flyer. +2/+0 as long as an opponent controls a human. This is awful. I mean, yeah. This is bad. It's just like a 3/3 flyer for 4. That no one will ever decide to sacrifice a creature for. It seems pretty bad. Seems pretty bad. I like the flavor too. It's got very, this has got like very Diablo vibes for me. Very Diablo 2-esque vibes here. Innocent Traveler. Not so Innocent Traveler. Solid for limited, sucks for constructed. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I mean, I don't even know if it's very good for limited, right? Because it's very expensive. I mean, I guess not. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess limited, it's okay. I guess it's okay. Mind Leech Ghoul, a 2/2 zombie for 2. Exploit. When it exploits, each opponent exiles a card from their hand. Not whatever. Very whatever. Parasitic Grasp. Cleave for 3. It deals 3 damage to target human creature. You gain 3 life. Okay. Sure. Great and limited, I think. Not probably gonna see any play anywhere else, I think. But actually I think that is pretty good and limited. Right, deal 3, that's to target creature. I think that's a lot of stuff, right? Doesn't that hit a lot of stuff and kill a lot of stuff? There are a fair amount of 4 toughness things, though, in the set that this isn't going to touch, so... I don't know. I think it's alright. I think it seems okay. It's the first time a black spell does that. First time a black spell does that. Parasitic Grasp. Gaining life. In this set, yeah. Path of Peril, a sorcery for 3 with cleave for 6 Orzhov. Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. Yeah. Yeah? Destroy all creatures. Sideboard. Right. This is a great sideboard against white weenie for black. But doesn't black already have a 3 mana like wrath for like tiny things? Maybe not. Anyway, regardless. I think this is fine. This is great. Good sideboard, that kind of stuff. Persistent Specimen. A 1/1 skeleton for 1. Return Persistent Specimen from your graveyard to the battlefield taps. That probably has its place in places. I really like that artwork. Artwork is cool. Pointed Discussion. Sorcery for 3. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, then create a blood token. So it's like a better Dark Bargain or whatever. Garbage card. But some people like to play this kind of stuff in limited. Maybe like a 1 of in limited is probably fine. Ragged Recluse, a 2/1 human peasant for 3. For 2. At the beginning of your end step, if you discarded a card this turn, transform Ragged Recluse. Odious Witch, a 3/3 human warlock. Whenever it attacks, defending player loses a life and you gain a life. Whatever. Not that great. I do like the art though, or the lore around it. I think that's pretty cool. Restless Bloodseeker, a 1/3 vampire for 2. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, create a blood token. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens, transform Restless Bloodseeker, activate only as a sorcery. Blood-Soaked Reveler. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, create a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I don't know about this one. I mean, I don't think it's going to be in any decks. I would be very surprised if it was any decks. Because it doesn't have flying or anything like that. Yeah. I don't think this is very good. I don't think so. I do like the art, though. I think the art's cool. Rot-Tide Gargantua, a 5/4 zombie kraken for 6. I'm sorry, for 5. Exploit. When Rot-Tide Gargantua exploits a creature, each opponent sacrifices a creature. I hate that kind of stuff. Because that is really only good when there's just one creature out, usually. Because it's just like... I mean, this is great in limited, right? But other than that, it's not good at all, right? Unless you can, like, flicker stuff. These exploit cards might be well, work well with flicker effects. If you have creatures to sacrifice. But like, say your opponent has a ton of stuff out in the field, then they choose the creature to sacrifice, then they just obviously lose their shittiest card, right? Anyway. Limited, sure. Never see play in anywhere else. Skulking Killer, a 4/2 vampire assassin for 4. When Skulking Killer enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until the end of turn if that opponent controls no other creatures. That's pretty shitty. It seems really shitty. It's like maybe kill a creature if it's their only one. No bueno. Yeah, it is weirdly bad, right? It's like... Okay, sure. Sorin the Fabian. Okay. Legendary Planeswalker, Sorin, for 4. For a +1, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to the mana value. Okay, that's good. Create a 2/3 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink. That is also good. Sorin the Mirthless deals 13 damage to any target and you gain 13 life. Okay. It's not like fucking insane or anything. Like, I think Loth is better, way better than this guy. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. He, like, does stuff and protects himself, can protect himself. Like, it's just not... It's definitely not the other Sorin. The other Sorin that defined vampire meta. Yeah. So... Not awesome. Yeah, it's pretty bad, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like, it's whatever. It's like very mediocre, but it's pretty bad when it comes to like Sorin, right? Because Sorin is not this card. Sorin is not this art. Sorin is not this shitty. Sorin is usually always very good in some way, shape, or form whenever he's printed. At least in my experience. And now it's this, so. Sorry to all the Sorin fans out there. But anyway. Toxrill the Corrosive, a 7/7 slug horror for 7. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token, and then sacrifice a slug, draw a card. I mean, this is a cool card. It's just so fucking expensive. So, like Golgari, or this could be one of the things that you get back with that dude, right? Yeah, reanimation cheats. Reanimation. Yeah. This is a pretty sick reanimation target. Because that's like -2/-2 every round, right? That seems pretty good to me. Undead Butler. A 1/2 zombie for 2. When Undead Butler enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, this is a good card. This is a good card for that zombie stuff that you want to be doing, right? So... You mill 3, you get some stuff that you want in your graveyard, and you exploit them. Yeah. This is a good card for those zombie decks that you want to be making. Undying Malice, an instant for 1. Until the end of turn, target creature gains when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Whatever. There's something like this almost in every set, so that's fine. Unhallowed Phalanx. This is what you guys were talking about, right? Unhallowed Phalanx. A 1/13 zombie soldier for 5. It enters the battlefield tapped. So, it's a little expensive. But, I mean, you want to chuck it at somebody's face, right? Yeah, you put that boy in a catapult and send it straight to the face. By the way, Dark Steve, I don't think you were here. I'm just gonna go up to this catapult thing. I mean, this is probably jank deck number 1. Jank deck number 1 so far is catapult fodder. So, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures that have toughness greater than their power, you transform it. So that could be the turn it comes out, easily. And then it turns into a, for 3 and tap it, sacrifice another creature. Target opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. Loving it. Loving it. So we're going to make that deck for sure. That might be the first one that I make because it's just so much fucking fun. Nice to see a fling effect in black. I agree. And it's like, and it's like a mirror fling effect too, right? So it's like a completely different, what do they call it? Kettle of tea or whatever. It's a completely different kettle of tea. That's not how you say it, but whatever. It's fine. Okay, a braid. A braid has come back. That's fine. I don't know if a braid's going to be good here because we're going to need to, well, 3 damage to target creature, destroy target effect. How many good artifacts have we seen? Well, actually, we haven't even gotten to the artifact section, so never mind. It might be good. But my thought right now is that people want to be able to destroy enchantments rather than artifacts. Oh wait, hold on. We didn't even get to the... There's 3 more black cards we missed here. Hold on. Vampire's Kiss. A sorcery for 2. Target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Create 2 blood tokens. Sure. Sure, fine. Volduran Bloodcaster. A 2/1 vampire wizard for 2. Flying. When Volduran Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. And whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform it. Bloodbat Summoner. Flying. A 3/3 flying at the beginning of combat on your turn. Up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste in addition to its other types. Yeah. How much does it cost? 2? Yeah, this is great. It's a great card. There's definitely a vampire deck here with like very, very quick, easy vampire aggro with blood tokens. I feel. It's gonna be expensive though, because they're all like rare. Those 3 vampires that I want in this particular deck, the 2-drop, the 3-drop, and the 4-drop are all rare. Actually, the 4-drop might even be mythic. But, I mean, it's there. These are good. These are good cards. Wedding Security. A 4/4 vampire soldier for 5. When Wedding Security attacks, you may sacrifice a blood token. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Wedding Security and draw a card. Dude. What a ridiculous name for a card. Wedding Security. Like, if you're just gonna, like, take this card out of context, like, at some point, 5-10 years from now, people are gonna be looking back at Historic and be like, Wedding Security? What the fuck? Why is this card called Wedding Security? Black Blood aggro? Yeah. Yeah, Commander players are going to be confused. They're like, what? Anyway, okay, so a braid. We talked about a braid. Alchemist's Gambit. A sorcery for 3, cleave for 7. Okay, is it? Take an extra turn after this one. No! During that turn, damage can't be prevented. At the beginning of that end turn's end step, you lose the game. Exile. Okay. What the fuck, dude? Take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, damage can't be prevented. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. I hate everything. I hate everything. Why do they need another one? But it's, I mean, there are ways you can exploit this, and it's not a gamble. You can just pay 7. You don't think Izzet wants this? I mean, Izzet already has one, right? So it doesn't need it, really. But it's just kind of like a kick in the gut, I feel. I mean, they're gonna ban Elrond's Epiphany. They're gonna ban it. It's just gonna take them a year to do it. Like, that's what happened with Nexus. Like, it's just so fucking, like... Ugh. I mean, honestly, it's probably, like... They're, like, Izzet's not gonna play it, because they have Elrond's Epiphany. But... I feel like maybe Mono Red Aggro might play this, maybe? Probably not. Like... I don't think anyone's gonna play this, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone's gonna play it, but it's just so fucking annoying to see it. Yeah, Nexus got banned like a month before it was rotating out or something stupid like that. Anyway. So fucking... I hate take extra turn cards. They're so stupid. Why do they play... Why do they make them? I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on. Alluring Suitor, a 2/3 vampire for 3. When you attack with exactly 2 creatures, transform Alluring Suitor. Deadly Dancer. Oh, look at this guy. A 3/3 vampire with trample. When this creature transforms into Deadly Dancer, add 2 red. Until the end of turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases end. And then for 2 red, it Deadly Dancer and another target creature each get +1/+0 until end of turn. So what it wants to be doing is attacking with one other creature. That's the lore. Like, it's asking another creature to dance with it, and then they dance. May I have this chance? Very loreful. Very loreful. I like that part of it, but I think it kind of sucks as a card. This wants to be like... This wants to cost 1, right? This wants to cost 1 or cost 2 and have haste. This costs 2 and have haste, then it would be amazing. But it doesn't. It costs 3 and it doesn't have haste. So you're attacking with this on turn 4, like, it's a 2/3. Yeah, it's any 2 creatures, sure, fine. So you could turn it, you could cast it on turn 2 and attack with, or I'm sorry, turn 3 and attack with 2 creatures and then flip it, but like, okay. Then you get 2 red for that. I don't know. It's just kind of like, okay. Flip it, get the red, drop another 2. Yeah. 3 mana, 3/3, give 2. Alright. It's alright. Does this make it into mono red aggro? Because that's where it wants to be. I don't know. Mono red aggro doesn't really exist right now outside of goblins, so... It's not terrible, has some promise. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Alright. Ancestral Anger. Target creature gains trample and +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard. Draw a card. I like it. I mean, this wants a very specific... This wants feather, right? This is feather. Jank? With what? Deadly Dancer? Or Ancestral Anger? Can we copy it as well? Sure. Sure, you could copy it. Does this go into your, Does this go into your Elementalist deck, Mega? Have we found a card for the Elementalist deck? Ballista Watcher, a 4/3 human soldier werewolf for 4. Ballista Watcher deals 1 damage to any target. Oh, our first werewolf here. Okay. Well, I guess it's not surprising because this is red. Ballista Wielder deals 1 damage to any target. A creature dealt damage this way can't block this turn. Not great. It's like okay, right? That's kind of expensive. It's alright. Really good and limited. Not super great in anywhere else. Belligerent Guest. 3/2 vampire for 3. Trample. Whenever belligerent guest deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Nope. Not very good. Blood Hypnotist. A 3/3 vampire for 3. Blood Hypnotist cannot block. When you sacrifice 1 or more blood tokens, target creature can't block. This ability only triggers once each turn. Also not super great. Blood Petal Celebrant, a 2/1 vampire for 2. Blood Petal Celebrant has first strike as long as it's attacking. When it dies, create a blood token. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what Vampire is trying to do, right? If Vampire is trying to be super aggressive, then I think that this is okay, but it's only just okay. It's only just okay. But this is good in limited, I think. Chandra is back, baby. Look, she's even got a dress on. Holy shit. Bloody Betrayal. A sorcery for 3. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste. Create a blood token. Yeah, sure, fine. Just another betrayal card. Same as any other. Cemetery Gatekeeper, a 2/1 vampire for 2. First strike when Cemetery Gatekeeper enters the battlefield. Exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. Fucking awesome. I love it. She's even wearing a dress, is what I said, Mega. Chandra doesn't usually wear a dress. Yeah, a betrayal card in red. Oh my goodness. This card's good. I like this card a lot. It's going to go in that vampire aggro deck. I think vampire aggro might actually be a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it became a thing. Which is exciting. Chandra, dressed to kill. Dressed to kill. Adorable. So for 3, she's got 3 loyalty. For +1, add red. Chandra, dressed to kill, deals 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. Player or planeswalker. Sure. Exile the top card of your library. If it's red, you may cast it this turn. Okay. And then for -7, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast red spells from among them this turn. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem deals X damage to any target where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Okay. Yeah, she's good. This is good, right? So, I mean, she doesn't protect herself, which is not good, but she does what red usually wants to do, which is get card advantage, right? So exile the top of your library. If it's red, you may cast it this turn. So it's not lands, right? So you can't cast the lands, but it gives you mana and it gives you card advantage, which is what you usually want, what Chandra usually wants. And she's not that expensive. So I think she's fine. Yeah, I think she's fine. Change of Fortune. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. Oh. Oh. Is this jank I see? Is this jank I see? It's expensive. Discard your hand, draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. I feel like there's fun that could be had here. I'm not sure. This is too expensive and it's too weird for anybody to really play this, I think. But I think there can be fun. I think there can be fun to be had with this. What we need is a permanent that pays up for drawing and discarding. Yeah. Then you chain these and laugh. Yeah. We'll have to see. There might be some shenanigans to be had here. This looks like a fun card. Creepy Puppeteer, a 4/3 human rogue for 4 haste. When Creepy Puppeteer attacks, if you attacked with exactly one other creature this turn, you may have that creature's base power and toughness become 4/3 until end of turn. Okay, that's fine. What I like is that it's a rogue. It's a red rogue, which is cool. That ability is also interesting. If you just attack with a 2. We have that in Historic. What, the discarding stuff? The discarding and drawing benefits? Yes, probably. Curse of Hospitality, another curse, hooray! And this artwork looks amazing. Enchant player. Creatures attacking enchanted player have trample. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to an enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Until end of turn, that creature's controller may play that card, and they may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Wait, what? When a creature deals combat damage to the enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Until the end of turn, that creature's controller. Okay. Yes. This is cool. Very cool curse. Love it. Yeah, Deadly Dancer and Creepy Puppeteer. Dude, I'm making a curse deck. This looks like so much fun. Just steal all the things. Daybreak Combatants. A 2/2 human warrior for 3. Haste. When Daybreak Combatant enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2. But yeah, fine, whatever. It's awful. Dominating Vampire. 3/3 vampire for 3. When Dominating Vampire enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until end of turn. Untap that creature and gain haste until end of turn. Okay. Yep. Another fucking amazing vampire. And it's in the right colors. Like, red, black is in the perfect colors for just, like, sacrificing stuff, right? So you have some vampires, you bring out Dominating Vampire, you attack with things, and then you sacrifice the thing that just attacked. Yep. It is good, but it's another rare, so the vampire deck is very rare heavy right now. End the Festivities. A sorcery for red. End the Festivities deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. Hmm. 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. I mean, stuff like this is usually pretty shitty. So I think I'm just going to say that it's shitty. It kills a lot of stuff. It is a worse Cinderclasm. This is true. But Cinderclasm is not bad, right? No, it's pretty bad. This is, yeah. Nobody ever plays with this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Falconwrath Celebrants, a 4/4 vampire for 5. Menace. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 blood tokens. Yeah, whatever. It's just a very whatever card. Fearful Villager, a 2/3 human werewolf for 2. Menace. And Menace. So it turns into a 4/3. Menace, so it's very whatever. It's almost like there's another Menace werewolf out there that just does Menace. But I like this artwork. I like, he's like, ugh. Flame Blessed Bolt. An instant for 2. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile instead, sure, whatever. There's already one of these in standard, isn't there? What is it? Scorching Root or something like that? Love to know what I think about the Chandra alternate art, though. Well, I don't know what it looks like. Chandra Dress to Kill alternate art. Oh. I like it a lot. That looks beautiful. Damn. Very, very pretty. I like that she's got her, like, bodice here. Looks very, Kaladesh-y? Or not Kaladesh. Is that where she's from? The inventor place. Kind of like, with a lot of filigree, you know? And then she's got the fire going here. Very cool. She looks very nice. So she was invited to Soren's granddad's wedding, huh? Very cool. I like it a lot. Alright. If they make it an avatar, then you can be... I might actually make her my avatar. But probably not. Probably not. You have to be very good in order for me to switch over from Vraska. Anyway. Frenzied Devils. A 3/3 devil for 5 haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Okay. Very whatever. Not very good, but limited, sure. Batch my dress is better. Yeah, for 5, yeah. This thing is pretty much unplayable for 5. But in limited, obviously, in certain decks, spell decks, it's fine. Honeymoon Hearse. Honeymoon Hearse. A 5/5 vehicle for 3. Trample. It tap 2 untapped creatures you control. It becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Oh. Okay. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. I mean, that seems pretty good. Right? It's not like not amazing, but it doesn't have crew. It's just any 2 untapped creatures you control. Which seems fine. That seems fine. Excuse me. So this could be a 5/5 trampler that you can be attacking with on turn 4 pretty easily. Seems fine to me. Seems fine to me. Oh, there's another Kaya. Kaya's like a major character in the story, sort of, kind of, since she was introduced, I guess. Hungry Ridgewolf. A 2/2 wolf for 2. As long as you control another wolf or werewolf, Hungry Ridgewolf gets +1/+0 and has trample. Very whatever card. Ill-Tempered Loner. A 3/3 human werewolf for 5. I'm sorry, for 4. Whenever Ill-Tempered Loner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Oh, interesting. It's another, like, taunting brawler or whatever. Any target. That's nice. Gets +2/+0 until end turn. Daybound. It deals that much damage to any target, so it still has that ability. And its pump is just a little bit stronger. I mean, there's jank to be had here. I can only imagine. I can only imagine there's jank to be had here. But it's also just kind of good, right? I mean, it's only a 3/3 for 4. But you don't really want to kill it. Or block it, or attack into it. So, it's alright. It's alright. She started as a villain? No. I don't think so. Anti-hero, maybe? Maybe. She was basically an assassin. She was a spirit assassin and worked for the Orzhov. She's like the only person who can actually kill ghosts or whatever. And the Orzhov was basically like run by a whole shit ton of old ghosts. So she killed them all. And then freed all of the ghosts that were enslaved by them, basically. So I would say she's a good guy. Into the Night, a sorcery for 4. It becomes night. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. Pretty bad. I don't think this even goes in werewolf decks. I mean, you could put it in a werewolf deck if you really feel like it, but I think there's another one that does this that's way better at doing this. There's the one that's just a green and a red, and it turns it to night. And even then, people don't really play that very much. Kessig Flame Breather, a 1/3 human shaman for 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. I mean, this card's bad, but how many is that now that we have in Standard? Dealing damage to each opponent? I can't remember. I think there's quite a few that do this now. But anyway. Kessig Wolfrider, a 1/2 human knight for 1. Menace. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Create a 3/2 red wolf creature token. Sure, I guess. Mono red, like it's like a good 1-drop for mono red, sorta. It does stuff with the shit that is in your graveyard, but you have to exile 3 and tap it in order to do that. I don't know. Menace on a 1-drop isn't nothing. Yeah, but it's, I mean, it's no frickin' champion, right? It's no champion. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. I think, no, Mega, there is going to be a Kamigawa set. That's what they said earlier. There's literally going to be a Kamigawa set. A futuristic Kamigawa set, I think. Limited discard decks? Yeah, sure. Great, yeah. It's great and limited. Lacerate Flesh. A sorcery for 5. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Create a number of blood tokens equal to the amount of excess damage that was dealt to creature this way. Fine and limited, I guess. Pretty crappy everywhere else. Lamholt Raconteur, a 2/4 human werewolf for 4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So here's another one. Daybound. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Lamholt Ravager deals 2 damage to each opponent. I mean, I like that, but you don't want to cast spells. Like, this is very not werewolfy behavior here. It's like the other werewolf that has it gets +1/+1 every single time that you cast a spell. There's a werewolf that gets that, and it's like, but as a werewolf deck, you don't want to be casting spells, really. Anyway. Interesting card. Not quite sure where it fits. Lightning Wolf. Aw, cute boy. Lightning Wolf. 4/3 wolf for 4. For 2, Lightning Wolf gains first strike until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. So it's pretty awful. I mean, this is really good. This is pretty good and limited, I'd say. Because I haven't seen too much stuff that's not like a bomb that has more than 4 toughness. But obviously, it's just kind of like a filler card. Magma Pummeler, a 0/0 elemental for 2x. Magma Pummeler enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to Magma Pummeler, excuse me, hold on one second. I don't know if that did it. Alright, enters battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to it while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many +1/+1 counters from it. When one or more counters are removed this way, it deals that much damage to any target. Interesting. Very interesting. This is kind of like Phantom. This has Phantom card energy, which is usually blue or white or green. I don't think I've ever seen this on a red card before. However, I think this is fine. I think this is actually like pretty good, right? Because if it deals combat damage to a creature, then it can kill a creature way beyond its reach by removing counters and then dealing that damage that way. It also cannot be, the damage can't be like prevented by a blocker if it's a good attacker and is trying to get in, because you can just deal damage to any target. You can deal damage to any target, which is good. This seems like a good card, but I'm not sure where it belongs. Yeah. Seems good. Seems good, but I don't know where it goes. Don't know where it goes. Maniform Hellkite, a 4/4 dragon for 4. Flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Exile that token at the beginning of the next end step. Wow. That seems pretty good. It seems pretty good. Where's Sarkhan? I don't know. I haven't seen Sarkhan in a hot minute. Get it? Markov at Retribution. A sorcery for 3. Choose one or both. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn, and target vampire you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. Whatever. I mean, maybe you put it in the vampire deck, but probably not. Sarkhan can, like, breathe fire out of his arms or whatever. Hot fire. Hot minute. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah, Epiphany. Maniform Hellkite with Epiphany. Well, what, I mean, so what's that, a 6/6? A 6/6 haster? Haster? Yeah, 6/6 haster? Sure. I don't think you put this in an Elrond's Epiphany deck. I don't think the Elrond's Epiphany deck wants this over anything else, though. So hot minute, Mega, in America, I don't know if this is English speakers around the world, but in the US, we say a hot minute when it's like, yeah, it's a turn of phrase. It's like, I haven't seen this person in a while. You'd be like, I haven't seen that person in a hot minute. Don't ask where it comes from. I have no idea where it comes from. Like, man, I haven't, like, smoked a bowl in a hot minute, or like whatever. Like, a particularly spicy minute. But usually it's like a long time. Like that means, it means a long time, a hot minute. Like a long time is in like months or like years. Like when I say I haven't seen Sarkon in a hot minute, it's because I haven't seen him in a really long time. Yeah, it does seem like if you look at it, it doesn't really make much sense, does it? But anyway. Oh, is that what happened, Daryl? Ugin? So we know that Ugin put Bolas into a timeout, but nobody knows that except for Jace. Jace is literally the only person who knows that, right? I haven't read the lore since War of the Spark because it just it made me hate. It made me hate things. Sentence doesn't make sense in your head. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, it's just slang. Anyway. Olivia's Attendants. A 6/6 vampire for 6 menace. Whenever Olivia's Attendant deals damage, create that many blood tokens, and then it deals 1 damage to any target. I mean, no one's gonna play with this. I mean, it's fine, right? It's a 6/6 for 6 with menace, but like, my guess is that you're not gonna want to play this on turn 6. If you have a vampire deck, this is not what you want to be doing on turn 6. On turn 6, you want to be winning the game with your other cards that you already played on turn 1, 2, and 3. So, I don't think anybody's gonna play that card. Pyre Spawn, a 6/4 elemental for 6. When Pyre Spawn dies, it deals 3 damage to any target. Also shitty. Reckless Impulse. Exile the top the top 2 cards of your library until end of turn. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Yeah, this seems fine. This actually seems pretty good, honestly. This is like mono red draw 2 cards, pretty much. Can you call me a phrase that you say here in Quebec? I mean, you can call me whatever you want. I might ban you, depending on what it is. American slang ain't got nothing on Cockney rhyming slang. I mean, nobody has anything on Cockney slang, I have a feeling, right? Never mind, okay. Reckless Impulse is gross. Yeah, it seems... I mean, it's what Mono Red wants. Mono Red might be coming back with some of the cards that we've seen here, but I think they're still missing some key cards. But this is definitely going to be in the Mono Red deck when it does come back. Rending Flame. An instant for 3. Rending Flame deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent is a spirit, it also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. Wow. 5 damage for 3? That seems rare. 5 damage for 3. That seems pretty good to me. Definitely top-notch removal in limited. Anyway. Runebound Wolf. A 2/2 wolf for 2. 4 in tap, Runebound Wolf. It deals damage equal to the number of wolves or werewolves you control to target opponent. That seems way too expensive. I don't think anybody's gonna play with this. Unless you just get like a shit ton of wolves on the field. Then maybe you play with Runebound Wolf. But I feel like they're mid-rangey. They're not like swarmy. Runebound Wolf, you like it? Okay. It is a way to push damage through in limited. So say you draft a wolf deck, 4 mana removal in a creature-based deck. 4 mana removal. Wait, Runebound Wolf? You can only target opponent. You have to target a player. You can say it, Mega. You can say it if you want. But if it's particularly insulting, I might be mad with you. Yeah, so it just pushes damage through, right? You fill up the board with wolves and then it pushes damage through. So, I mean, there's jank there. You don't know me, girl? Is that it? You're not mean. I know you're not mean, Mega. I'm pretty sure you don't have a mean bone in your body. Sanguine Statuette. When Sanguine Statuette enters the battlefield, create a blood token. Whenever you sacrifice a blood token, you may have Sanguine Statuette become a 3/3 vampire artifact creature with haste until end of turn. Super shitty. But, I mean, if you draft... I'm looking forward to drafting. This is going to be a fun draft set, I think. Dark Steve, you're not mean. You think you are. You're just honest. You're not mean or cruel. These cards have been usually better than they look, but no evasion. Yeah, there's not much evasion. You never said cruel. Yeah, mean. No, I mean... I honestly think that telling people the truth, so long as it's not... So long as the truth is, like, beneficial to know, then it can be mean, right? It can be mean, but it's, like... not just mean. There's like a kindness to being truthful, even if it hurts a little bit, you know. Let's see. J'ai l'estomac dans le talon. My stomach is in my heels. My stomach is in my heels? I have my stomach in my heels. So talons is heels, huh? You've been accused of being mean more times than nice. I don't think I've ever said that you were mean. Have I ever said that you were mean? Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's keep going. I'm getting distracted because I've had like mostly a glass of wine now and I'm excited because of all these cards. Stensia Uprising. So is this after the wedding? An enchantment for 4. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 red human creature token. Then if you control exactly 13 permanents, you may sacrifice Stensia Uprising. When you do, it deals 7 damage to any target. Interesting. That's an interesting card. That's jank if I'd ever heard of jank before. But even so, it's not like amazing jank. It's like weirdly specific jank that doesn't do a shit ton of stuff. Exactly 13 permanents. I'm so hungry, my stomach is in my heels. So that's when you're hungry? Or is this something that you call somebody? I think it's like when you get a falling sensation when shit hits the fan. Yeah. That sounds like it. Sure Strike. Okay, yeah, Sure Strike. Vampire's Vengeance. Vampire's Vengeance deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature. Create a blood token. Ooh. That seems good. This goes in the vampire deck. Shit, dude. 2 damage to each non-vampire creature? Yeah. Damn. Fine with that. Volatile Arsonist. Not going to do anything against mono green, really, though. Volatile Arsonist. A 4/4 human werewolf for 5. Menace haste. When Volatile Arsonist attacks, it deals 1 damage to each of up to 1 target creature, 1 target player, and or up to 1 target planeswalker. Okay. And then it ups to 2. I mean, this seems very good. So this can kill 2 things. Easily. This could easily kill a creature and a planeswalker if it's night-bound, if it's currently nighttime, on the first turn. This is a very good card. It's a little expensive. This is a little expensive, but it seems very good. Okay. Volduran Epicure. A 1/1 vampire for 1. When Volduran and Epicure enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each opponent and create a blood token. So that's probably your 1-drop. That might be your 1-drop in the vampire deck. Voltaic Visionary. A 3/1 human wizard for 2. Voltaic Visionary deals 2 damage to you. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate this only as a sorcery. When you play a card exiled with Voltaic Visionary, transform it. Volt Charged Berserker. Can't block. Okay. So this is also mono red. This is like mono red's turn 2. This is a good mono red turn 2 right here. Especially, actually, I don't, maybe it's not a good mono red turn 2 because you have to tap it. Deals 2 damage to you. So it's doing nothing on turn 2, and it's doing nothing on turn 3. Well, I guess it's drawing you a card on turn 3. So actually, I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I rescind that. It's a cool card, though. I like this ability. Alright, Weary Prisoner, a 2/6 human werewolf for 4, defender, daybound. And then attacks each combat if able. Yeah, I mean, it's just another werewolf common, like whatever. Alright, here we are. We're in green. Let's go. It's already 11:30. Jeez Louise. It takes so long to get through these sets. It can just attack as a 3/1 on turn 2 and transform once an opponent has a blocker. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose. Apprentice Sharpshooter, a 1/4 human archer for 3, reach training. Sure, fine. Ascendant Pack Leader, a 2/1 wolf for 1. Ascendant Pack Leader enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it if you control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater, and when you cast a spell with mana 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Ascendant Pack Leader. Seems perfectly fine. That's exactly what a mono green deck wants. Or like a wolf deck, I suppose, if you're going to be just shooting the face with the Ruined Wolf. Or just like wolf tribal, you know, werewolf tribal. Alright, Averbrook Caretaker, a 4/4 human werewolf for 6. Jeez, that's a lot. Hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. And other permanents you control have hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters. Wow, that's an insane card. This is an insane card. I mean, I don't think it's good enough that it will be in any deck, like standard deck, but it is a bomb. This is a bomb. Maybe Simic Ramp. This could be in Simic Ramp, I suppose. This is a holy shit card. Yeah, I guess, I mean, this is mono green. Like, this is an incredibly powerful mono green card, which I suppose is, it doesn't need to be a werewolf deck or anything. It's just mono green, right? Gruul Wolves might play this. Yeah, but Gruul Wolves is like not a deck, right? And you don't have to play it with wolves. I would guess that you would play this in a Simic Ramp deck, right? Simic Ramp enchantment deck or whatever. Other permanents? Other permanents you control have hexproof. Like, it's hexproof, and then all other permanents you control have hexproof. Like, this is stupid. Not even creatures, just anything. So, yeah. Seems good. Seems good to me. Alright, bramble armor. Didn't we already have a bramble armor? Yeah, that seems... Don't we already have this in standard? Whatever. Bramble worm. A 7/6 worm for 7. Reach trample. When enters the battlefield, gain 5 life. Exile from your graveyard, gain 5 life. Sure. Whatever. Reanimator control plays it to protect its setup. Sure. You could do Reanimator. Cartographer's Survey. A sorcery for 4. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 land cards from among them into the battlefield tapped. And put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh boy. So this is an insane Simic ramp card or whatever. This seems really good. I mean, they have to have 2 lands in the top 7, but you put 2 lands onto the battlefield tapped. That seems pretty good. It's a worse migration path? Ramps into non-basics. Yeah, like, this seems good to me. It seems good to me. Cemetery Prowler, a 3/4 wolf for 3 vigilance. When Cemetery Prowler enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from the graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. This seems fucking insane too. It's a 3/4 vigilance for 3. And then it makes your shit cheaper. This seems insane. Like, what the fuck? This is an incredibly strong card. Okay. Alright, yeah, agree. I mean, sure, whatever. Fine. Moving on. Cloaked Cadet, a 2/4 human ranger for 5. Training. When 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on 1 or more humans you control, draw a card. This ability triggers once each turn. Alright, fine. I mean, it's way too expensive. It's way too specific. No one's playing this card. Crawling Infestation. Enchantment for 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may mill 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more creature cards are put into graveyard from anywhere during your turn, create a 1/1 green insect creature token, and it triggers only once each turn. Very specific cards want this. But decks, I mean. So maybe like a Reanimator deck, sure, maybe. Might want this, but probably not. I don't think anybody wants it. I don't think anybody wants it. I complain about blue, but green is just stupid. Yeah, green is not my favorite right now either. It's just too strong. I mean, it's expensive, right? Mill at the beginning of upkeep, you may mill 2 cards. Sure. I guess. But there's plenty of other cards that allow you to mill. I think it's just okay, honestly. I mean, and it's only okay in very specific situations. Crushing Canopy. We know this one. Destroy target creature with flying or enchantment. Cultivator Colossus. An XX plant beast for 7. 8? For 7. Trample. Cultivator Colossus's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat the process. Dude, Simic Ramp. Simic Ramp, dude. This is fucking ridiculous. So I guess I'm playing some Simic Ramp later. I made an error? Or they made an error. Star. Oh yeah, sure, for wine, whatever. Star. Yeah. Yeah, if you play this with a Shaya, but are they lands in your hand? I don't think they're lands in your hand, right? Otherwise, this would just be fucking insane, right? If you had Ashaya out and you had this and you could put a land, like a creature onto the battlefield and just do that forever until you have all of the creatures out of your deck onto the battlefield. Yeah, I don't think there are not lands in your hand, but this seems just perfectly fine without that. Alright, moving on. Dawnheart Disciple. A 2/2 human warlock for 2. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, Dawnheart Disciple gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Sure. Whatever. That's a pretty bad follow-up to Cultivator Colossus. Dig Up. Okay. Sorcery for 1. Cleave for 4. Golgari. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand and shuffle. Okay, so it's either getting a basic land card or a tutor for 4. Seems good. I think this seems pretty decent. If you're trying to do like some sort of combo deck in Golgari. Helps you get the land cards that you need, and if you get it later on when you have all the land that you need, you can just get whatever you want. Seems fine. Not insane, but not bad. Dormant Grove, an enchantment for 4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then if that creature has toughness 6 or greater, transform Dormant Grove. Gnarled Grove Strider, a 3/6 with vigilance. Other creatures you control have vigilance. Sure, whatever. Like, this is great and limited. Very great and limited, like amazing and limited, but whatever. But whatever. Alright, Flourishing Hunter, a 6/6 wolf spirit for 6. When Flourishing Hunter enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among other creatures you control. Whatever. Glorious Sunrise. Enchantment for 6. I'm sorry, an enchantment for 5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and trample. Target land gains add 3 green. Draw a card if you control a creature with power 3 or greater, or gain 3 life. Is that Teferi? Is he there too? That looks like him. I mean, this seems nice, but I don't know if anybody's going to play it. Like, I think there's an enchantment deck here somewhere, but an enchantment for 5 is like a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot. But it does ramp a land or, you know, add 3 green. I don't know. This seems too expensive, honestly, but it might be good. It isn't green. It's true. It isn't green. Hamlet Vanguard, a 1/1 human warrior for 3. Ward 2. It enters battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each other non-token human you control. Well, that seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Who's the girl on the left? Isn't that Chandra? I thought it was Chandra. Maybe not. Because Chandra usually wears chainmail. So maybe not. Arlen. Arlen. Yes, yes, yes. Arlen. That's the one. I think this Hamlet Vanguard is good in Celestia humans, obviously. Right? You don't want to see him in any colors other than his own. Hiveheart Shaman, a 3/5 human shaman for 4. Whenever Hiveheart Shaman attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card that doesn't share a land type with a land you control. Put that card in the battlefield, then shuffle. Okay. Basic land card. So basically it just allows you to fill up your set of 5, I guess, right? Create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of basic land types among the lands you control. Activate only as a sorcery. I don't see this really, like, being good. This doesn't seem very good. I mean, like, it does a thing, and that thing is cool, but, like, why, like, when would you ever want a thing like this to do that thing? Anyway, interesting card. I don't think it'll see play. Hookhand Mariner. A human werewolf for 4. A 4/4 human werewolf for 4. And it can't be blocked by creatures the power 2 or less. Sure. It's just another common werewolf. Howling Moon, an enchantment for 3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. When an opponent casts their second spell each turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Interesting. This is kind of punishment for pulling you out of night. That seems cool. I don't think it'll be any good, but it seems cool. Howlpack Piper, a 2/2 human werewolf for 4. The spell can't be countered. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it is a wolf or werewolf, untap Howlpack Piper. Activate only as a sorcery. What the fuck? What the fuck? For 2 and tap, you may put a creature card from your hand in the battlefield. Like, who cares? No one gives a shit? Like, no one gives a shit about this? Like, that's a fucking cultivator. That's a fucking cultivator on turn 5. Easy. And you can do it multiple times for other things. Like, if you want wolves or werewolves. What the fuck? This card's getting banned, by the way. I mean, this seems pretty damn broken to me. This seems pretty fucking broken to me. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Wildsong Howler, you may look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I mean, so I guess this is a reason why your opponents might want it to be nighttime. I mean, it's like a little on the expensive side, but if you have this thing out for 1 turn and it can't be countered, if you have this thing out for 1 turn, you can get some fucking insane shit on the battlefields. What? Like, what? This seems stupid. There's so many wolves and werewolves with haste, or makes other things have haste, or just do ridiculous things. This seems ridiculous to me. Okay, alright, whatever. I mean, sure. Okay. Infestation Expert, a 3/4 human werewolf for 5. When Infestation Expert enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Sure. Infested Werewolf. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, create 2 green insect creature tokens. Sure, whatever. Not great, but whatever. Slap this in a deck with decent removal and big payoffs. Howlpack Piper? Yeah. Like, that's just fucking ridiculous to me. Laid to Rest. Enchantment for 4. Whenever a human you control dies, draw a card. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. Interesting. I don't think that's any good, but it's interesting. Interesting card. Massive Might. Target creature gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. Sure, fine. Moldgraft Millipede, a 2/2 insect horror for 5. When Moldgraft Millipede enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards, then put a +1/+1 counter on Moldgraft Millipede for each creature card in your graveyard. Sure, whatever. Not awesome. Mulch. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand. The rest in the graveyard. Sure. Nature's Embrace. An aura for 3. Enchant creature or land. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +2/+2. As long as it's a permanent, the permanent is a land. It has add 2 mana of any one color. That's cool. I like that. So you can kind of Choose what you want. Choices are good. I like that. You literally don't care about the rest of green after that. Yeah, no, right. That's kind of how I feel. Works on manlands. What's a manland? Oakshade Stalker, 3/3 human ranger werewolf for 3. You may cast the spell as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. Sure. Okay. Interesting card. Interesting card. I don't think it's good, but I like that ability. That's interesting. Pack Song Pup. Aww. A 1/1 wolf for 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a wolf or werewolf, put a +1/+1 counter on Pack Song Pup. When Pack Song Pup dies, you gain life equal to its power. Okay. Seems like a okay. I mean, it's whatever. It's very kind of whatever card. You probably aren't going to put it in any standard decks, but I like it, and I like the art. I think the art's cute. All right, Reclusive Taxidermist, a 1/2 human druid for 2. It gets +3/+2 as long as there are 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, and you can add a mana of any color. It seems great. It's a great card, honestly. It's a mana dork that becomes not so much a dork later in the game. That seems fine. I like it. All right, a sorcerer, retrieve sorcery for 3. Return 1 target creature card and 1 target non-creature permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Then exile. Okay. I suppose it's fine. Good for that revival or reanimator deck that has been kicking around in here. Rural Recruit, a 1/1 human peasant for 4. That's very interesting artwork. Does that pig have like a scythe in its mouth? Training. When Rural Recruit enters the battlefield, create a 3/1 green boar recruit token. Creature token. So this would actually be really good if it was cheaper, but it's very expensive for a 1/1 because it comes with its own creature that can train it, which is hilarious. So basically this human is being trained by its own pig. Alright. Sawblade Slinger. When Sawblade... a human archer for... A 4/3 human archer for 4. When Sawblade Slinger enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Destroy target artifact opponent controls, or it fights target zombie and opponent controls. That's very specific. Thank you very much for the tier 1 sub gift, Livino. Welcome, Felipe. Alright. Sheltering Boughs. Bows? Boughs? Boughs, right? An enchantment for 3. An aura. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3. Very whatever. Snarling Wolf. I mean, do they need to reprint this? This just came out in the last set. Or whatever. They like ran out of filler cards? They ran out of filler cards. Spiked Ripsaw. An equipment for 3. Equipped creature gets +3/+3. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may sacrifice a forest. If you do that, creature gains trample until end of turn. That seems awful. That seems like a pretty bad card to me. No one's ever playing with that. Splendid Reclamation. Sorcery. For 4, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Well, I'll be a fucking monkey's uncle. Like, this is also insane. So it looks like the self-mill reanimator, like, Golgari nonsense seems pretty strong. This seems pretty strong, honestly. Yeah. Alright. Spore Crawler. A 3/2 fungus for 3. When Spore Crawler dies, draw a card. Sure. Sporeback Wolf, a 2/2 wolf for 2. As long as it's your turn, it gets +0/+2. Sure. Toxic Scorpion, a 1/1 scorpion for 2 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, another target creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. Okay. Also, whatever. Ulvenwald Oddity, a 4/4 beast for 4, trample, haste, and then you can transform it for an insane amount. Ugh. An 8/8. Other creatures you control have +1/+1, trample, and haste. Alright, well, at least you can't cheat it into play. You actually have to pay to transform it. That's pretty horrifying. Oh god, don't talk to me about Wilderness Reclamation. What a nightmare. I don't think I've ever wanted to play Standard less. Weaver of Blossoms, a human werewolf for 3. A 2/3 human werewolf for 3. Add 1 mana of any color. Okay, so it's a mana dork werewolf. Add 2 mana of any color. Okay. Aw, look at this werewolf. She's got a little lay. Cute. That's okay, I guess. Not, like, amazing or anything, but whatever. It's fine. Witch's Web, an instant for 2. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach till end of turn. Untap it, sure. Just another wonderful combat trick. Here's another one. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Sure. That seems fine. Wolfkin Outcast, a human werewolf, 5/4 human werewolf for 6. Costs 2 less to cast if you control a wolf or werewolf. So what would that be? For 3? No. 4. And then whenever Wedding Crasher, or another wolf or werewolf you control dies, draw a card. Oh, that seems pretty good, actually. It's a little expensive. I don't think it's going to make its way into any particular decks, but very good and limited if you're building a werewolf deck. But other than that, it's kind of like whatever, I think. Ancient Lumberknot, a 1/4 tree folk for 4. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Okay, well, we have ourselves a high alert. Almost. One section of a high alert. And there is plenty of this shit going on. There is plenty of this shit going on, especially in black. Big butt Golgari, you know it. Especially that 1/13 zombie now hits for 13 damage. And that 0/4 creature for 1. Although I think that's a defender. It's got defender, doesn't it? Hold on. Hope this doesn't make anybody sick. I'm going to scroll all the way up to see that thing. Concealing Curtains. It does have defender. It does have defender. But I think that's okay. I think there's lots of stuff that can take advantage of this. This is going to be a fun card. This is going to be a fun card to play with. Ancient Lumberknot. Alright. Angie? Maid of Dishonor? Maid of Dishonor. I get it. I get it. Alright, so she's a 4/5 vampire for 4. Whenever Angie, Maid of Dishonor, and or one or more other vampires enter the battlefield under your control, create a blood token. Only once per turn. Okay. 2, and sacrifice another creature or blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay. It's another rare vampire in the vampire colors. I don't know if it's good enough to play. But it's a cool limited card to build around, that's for sure. Bloodtithe Harvester, a 3/2 vampire for 2. When Bloodtithe Harvester enters the battlefield, create a blood token, and then sacrifice Bloodtithe Harvester. Target creature gets -X/-X, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Sure. Whatever. It's fine, I guess. Brine Comer, A 1/1 spirit for 3. Whenever Brian Comer enters the battlefield or becomes the target of an aura spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Disturb for 2. Whenever Brinebound Gift enters the battlefield or enchanted creature becomes target of aura spell. Okay, so it's the same thing, yeah. So they want to make like a disturbed creature enchantment deck. Which I suppose is good for core Spirit Dancer decks in Historic, yeah? I still don't think that we have like a good target for that stuff just yet. Oh, there's Edgar. Charmed Groom. Okay, hold on, we're not there yet. Child of the Pack. A 2/5 human werewolf for 4. For 4, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token Daybound. Savage Packmate. How did she get so big? She was just a tiny little child and then she grew up real fast. Okay. Trample. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. 5/5. So limited bomb, but other than that, nah. I don't think this is making its way into anything. I don't think anyway. Cute and deadly. Cute, but cutely deadly. You know what? It goes great with Piper. Yeah. Yes. I mean, no, I wouldn't play this in a Piper deck. There's way better things to play in a Piper deck than this. Dorothea, Vengeful Victim. A 4/4 spirit for 2. What? Flying. When Dorothea, Vengeful Victim attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of the combat. Okay, sure. I see. And then enchanted creature has, whenever this creature attacks, create a 4/4 white spirit creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. Sacrifice that token at the end of combat. I mean, that sounds fucking insane. This is definitely the best version of this card that we've seen so far. Best version we've seen so far. It's Geist of Saint Traft. Yes, it is the Geist of Saint Traft. Although I don't think that was a 4/4, right? Wasn't that a 3/3 or something? But it's basically the same thing. Edgar, Charmed Groom. Here we are, the man of the hour. 4/4 Vampire Noble for 4. Other vampires you control get +1/+1. When Edgar, Charmed Groom dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Edgar Markov's Coffin. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with a lifelink and put a bloodline counter on Edgar Markov's Coffin. Then, if there are 3 or more bloodline counters on it, remove those counters and transform it. Okay, so it's like, just kind of comes back. I mean, the fact that this is white sucks, right? Because this is your vampire lord. This is your vampire lord, but it's literally the only reason we've seen to play white other than welcoming vampire, which I think is good in not just vampire decks. Whenever one or more other creatures power 2 or less into the battlefield and you control, draw a card. So I guess your vampire decks are now Mardu. I guess they're Mardu now, huh? Slow, too much mana, no evasion. Yeah, I suppose, but I think the most important part about this is not that it is a 4/4 creature. I think the most important part is that it pumps all your vampires and it doesn't really ever go away. I don't know. I don't know if I don't think it's worth it to play white for this. Exile effects is... Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, okay. Exile effects exist. But, like, it's way harder to make it go away than other stuff. I don't think this is worthy of play in a vampire deck. Which is kind of fucking annoying, to be honest with you. It's like, here's Edgar. Like, the whole point of the entire set, Edgar. And he's just kind of, like, not what you would want in a vampire deck, I guess. The back is an artifact. It is, it is. It creates vampire creature tokens with lifelink. So, like, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but there's that other thing that you would much rather be playing, right? Stromkirk Captain. What's that from? The Last Innistrad. Having 2 Edgars on the board. That would be interesting, because then you'd always have both of them, right? So as soon as one flipped, you'd kill the other one, and then it would turn into the coffin. So you'd be making a 1/1. I mean, that sounds like way too much work, honestly. You could have it and it's reversed on the board simultaneously, yes. Hey Zeus1, thank you for the follow. Is that like Jesus as in like Jesus? Jesus? Jesus. A Ruth Tormented Prophet, a 2/4 human wizard for 3. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards from your library instead, and you may play those cards this turn. Oh, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty fucking good to me. You'd risk losing one if they both become artifacts. Yes, you would. Gralnock the Omnivore, a 3/3 frog for 4. Whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from the library, exile it with a croak counter on it. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards you own and exile with croak counters on them. This is fucking hilarious. Frog creatures? So you can turn things into frogs with the frog thing. Who was the person who made me that frog deck? Hold on. Daremoon. Is Daremoon in here? I don't think Daremoon's here. I haven't seen him all night. That's an interesting card. That's an interesting card waiting for some jank. Some inspired jank. I was hoping to get around to actually creating decks here, but I don't think we're gonna get there. I'm gonna finish the set and then I'm gonna have to go straight to bed because this has taken 3.5 hours for me to just get here through the set. Don't underestimate the frog thing. I mean, I guess with shapeshifters, right? I mean, I'm not underestimating this. This seems good. Like, you can just basically play whatever. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exile it with a croak counter on it. Yeah, you mill 3 cards for every frog. So you have a couple shapeshifters and this guy attacking. You like mill the top 15 cards of your deck or whatever the fuck. Bloodborne nods? I have not played enough Bloodborne, honestly. Halana and Elena, partners. 2/3 human ranger for 4. First strike and reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Helena and Elena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. That seems pretty fucking good, honestly. Seems pretty good. It's a little expensive, but that seems pretty good. Kaya, Geist Hunter. So here's the other Kaya. So it's a Kaya for 3, and she comes in with 3 loyalty counters. Each creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control, creature token you control. Until end of turn, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many tokens are created instead. Cool. Exile all cards from all graveyards, then create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying for each card exiled this way. I mean, she doesn't protect herself at all. And she belongs in an extremely specific deck. A creature token deck. What are the best creature tokens? This Renin 7? So is this like an Abzan? Is this like an Abzan deck? Esika's Chariot? Right? You get her on turn 3. Then you minus her the next turn and cast Esika's Chariot. You get 4 cats. Sedgemoor Witch? Yeah. Yeah. The curve isn't quite right. But yeah. So you could play Sedgemoor Witch on turn 3. Play Kaya on turn 4. And then cast a spell. Her combo with the Demograph Titan Sack. Yeah. Make 20 tokens. I mean, we'll have to try that, won't we? Alright, let's keep going. I'm going to be here until like frickin' 1 o'clock in the morning. Markov Purifier, a 2/3 vampire cleric for 3. Lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gain life this turn, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. Alright, whatever. I mean, sure. There's plenty of like life gain stuff that's going on here, so it's just another life gain thing. Markov Waltzer. So they really want vampires to be Mardu, huh? 3/1 vampire for 4 flying haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 2 target creatures control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. It's not good. Audric Bloodcursed. Audric. I've heard of Audric before. Isn't he on another plane? Isn't he on Dominaria? I thought Audric was somewhere else. Maybe I'm wrong. 3/3 vampire soldier for 3. When Audric Bloodcursed enters the battlefield, create X blood tokens where X is the number of abilities from among flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance found among creatures you control. Yeah, that's kind of like whatever, right? I mean, unless blood tokens end up being something insane, that seems kind of like whatever. Oh, Audric's Outrider. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay, I was thinking of somebody different. I was thinking of, there's another vampire in Dominaria who's cursed. His name is Cursed. Like, something Cursed. Anyway, he, like, protects legendary creatures or something like that. Old Rutstein? Old Rutstein. A 1/4 human peasant for 3. Here's a Golgari Big Butt. Krovax, is that his name? Here's a Golgari Big Butt creature. When Old Rutstein enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure token. Oh. If a creature card is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token. This seems like a very good card in the deck that it wants to be in. What are you buying? You really want the red-white uncommon over Audric? What, the Waltzer? I don't think so. I don't think you want either of them in your vampire deck, really. I mean, if there's a blood token deck, perhaps I'm underestimating blood tokens, and blood tokens are like really spicy. And if that's the case, then yeah, you play Audric. But if not, then you don't, because he's just a 3/3 for 3. And that's it. Waltzer looks really good? I don't think Waltzer looks really good, honestly. It's a 1/3 for 4. I mean, it does have flying and haste, but there's way more things that I think I would rather be playing for 4, personally. Hey, Gaffa. Blood tokens also count for artifacts if you need those. That's true. That's true. Alright, let's take a look at Olivia. Here we are, the woman of the hour. So we looked at the man of the hour. He was kind of meh. let's look at the woman of the hour. She's fucking super expensive. Olivia Crimson Bride, a 3/4 vampire noble for 6. Flying in haste. Whenever Olivia Crimson Bride attacks, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains when you don't control a legendary vampire. Exile this creature. Who doggy? Well. Yeah, she's amazing when you play her here on turn 5 for 2 mana. You like her hair? Is that her hair? I mean, you're not wrong, Dark Steve. You're not wrong. All right, Runo Stromkirk, a 1/4 vampire cleric for 3. Okay, so this is our first Dimir vampire. That's cool. I don't think I've ever seen a Dimir vampire before. Flying. When Runo Stromkirk enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If a creature card with a mana value 6 or greater is revealed this way, transform Runo Stromkirk. Crothis, Lord of the Deep. A Kraken horror. Jeez, what's the lore behind that one? Flying. When Crothis, Lord of the Deep attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. If that creature is a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, create 2 of those tokens instead. Dude, what is the janky ass deck that this card wants to be in? What the fuck is this? What is this? Oh, Etrata. No, you're right. You're right. Etrata. Yeah, I think there's plenty of them in, there's plenty of vampires that are blue-black in Ravnica, right? Yeah. Combo this with Kaya. Make 4 copies. Yeah. It's true. You could do that. Maybe that's something that we want to do. Sigardian Paladin, a 4/4 human knight for 4. As long as you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature this turn, it has trample and lifelink. And target creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it gains trample and lifelink. That seems pretty okay. Very, very good in limited when you build a certain deck, right? I don't know how the human like +1/+1 counter decks are going to turn out. I don't think that this is good enough to be in like a standard deck or anything, but definitely good in limited. Have we done the Vanguard yet? Which one? Skull Scab, a 2/2 zombie for 2. Exploit whenever a creature you control exploits a non-token creature. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I don't know if this is good or not. I'll have to see how good exploit is. Like, the zombie deck wants some exploit stuff in it, but I don't know if it wants this. I don't know if it wants this. Yeah, it works with all your exploits, which is fine. But, like, you kind of want to exploit token creatures, right? So, it's okay. It's like, whatever. It's a 2/2 zombie for 2 that, like, helps you do stuff that you're going to want to do in a zombie exploit deck. So, like, it could be good, but it could also be just kind of like, whatever. Yeah, it is interesting that it has exploit itself. So, like, you could exploit your 1-drop. If you exploit your 1-drop, then you could get a 2/2 black zombie creature token, I guess. That's true. That's true. Sometimes creatures have on-death effects, like if your 1-drop is like the flying bat creature that learns something, you could exploit it, get a 2/2 zombie, and learn a lesson, right? I twitch. So I don't know. It's alright. It's like whatever, maybe. It's like whatever, maybe. Torrens, Fist of the Angels, a 2/2 human cleric for 3. Training. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human soldier creature token when training. Okay. Well, that sounds like a big problem for people. And they stack with each other. It's true they do. I don't know how good this is. Like, humans, I'm not sure how good humans is. Like, you can just wipe them off the face of the planet with one spell. So, like, Celestia human seems very mid-rangey. So, you'd have to find a way of protecting all your shit. So, I don't know. Celestia cleric seems good. Not good with Piper. Pass. Yeah. All right. Vile Spawn Spider. A 2/3 spider for 2 with reach at the beginning of your upkeep mill card. And then sacrifice the spider to create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each creature card in your graveyard. Activate only as a sorcery. So does this weird ass reanimator deck, mill deck want to be Sultai? I don't know. It's cute. I like it too. It's like super adorable. Look at how cute this little spider is. I'm a fan of spiders, by the way. Janky mulch mill combo with Kaya. With Kaya? I mean, so you're talking 4 color? Yeah, it's better than bear stats for bear price, but it is a little bit harder to cast, which I think that's the reason why it's a little bit better. I don't know if I'd put this in with Kaya. There's like other stuff that are actually in her colors that I would play before this. All right, Wandering Mind, a 2/1 horror for 3. Flying. When Wandering Mind enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is how you get more epiphanies, right? You just want more epiphanies? Great. I don't think even epiphanies would play this, but you could. Blood Servitor, a 2/2 construct for 3. When Blood Servitor enters the battlefield, create a blood token, whatever. Boarded window. Creatures attacking you get -1/-0 at the end of at the beginning of each end step. If you were dealt 4 or more damage this turn, exile boarded window. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. It's awful, but it is hilarious. Ceremonial Knife. An equipment for 1. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage. Create a blood token. Equip 2. Yep, awful. Dollhouse of Horrors. An artifact for 5. 1 tap. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of the exiled card, except it's a 0/0 construct artifact in addition to its other types. And it has this creature gets +1/+1 for each construct you control. It gains haste until the end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. What was that screen creature? Hold on 1 second. Alright, doesn't really work with that, but it's too expensive anyway. This card's kind of poop. It's too expensive. Although it does work with Kaya, which might be interesting. Foreboding Statue, a 1/2 construct for 3. Add 1 mana of any color. Put an omen counter on Foreboding Statue at the beginning of your end step. If there are 3 or more counters on it, transform it to Forsaken Thresher. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 1 mana of any color. Huh. It's a mana dork that becomes not a mana dork. It's cool. I like that, just like the other one. It's kind of they're both expensive mana dorks, but they do at least do stuff later. Honored Heirloom. Add 1 mana of any color. Exile target card from a graveyard. Alright, whatever. Investigator's Journal. Investigator's Journal enters the battlefield with a number of suspect counters on it equal to the greatest number of creatures a player controls. Remove a suspect counter from Investigator's Journal, draw a card, and sacrifice it, draw a card. Equal to the greatest number of creatures a player controls. Okay. Whatever. It's kind of like a Tome of the Maze Mind or whatever. Good night, Felipe. Yeah, I'm going to be going to bed soon here too. Dollhouse plus Lithoform Engine. Oh, it's a clue innately. That's cool. I see. Yeah, it seems okay. Seems okay. I think People will probably play this. Lantern of the Lost. An artifact for 1. When it enters the battlefield, exile target card from graveyard. Exile Lantern of the Lost. Exile all cards from all graveyards. This is a reprint, right? This seems like a reprint. Then draw a card. Wedding Invitation. Oh my god, what a such a ridiculous set. Wedding Invitation. Okay, an artifact for 2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Sacrifice it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. If it's a vampire, it also gains lifelink until end of turn. Okay. Hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, and here we go. Lands. Oh my god, we're almost done. So, we have the check lands, right? Is that what these ones are called? 2 or more lands. Then Evolving Wilds. Yep. Volderin Estate. Pay 1 life. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only cast a vampire spell. Create a blood token. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. And then more cool lands. Amazing. More cool lands. And then Count Dracula. All right. Sorin is Count Dracula. And then these look cool. Alternative art for the wedding invitation stuff. Blood Crazed Socialite. This one looks cool. I like that. That one's not cooler. That one's not cooler. This one is absolutely way cooler and the only one I will play. This one looks cooler. Look at how hot that guy is. Good lord. I'd dance with him. That's a cool one too. I like Volderin Bloodcaster. Yeah, I like this one better than the original too. So it's what? It's like all the vampires? So last time it was all the werewolves got alternative art, and now it's all the vampires get alternative art? This is cool. I like these. Oh, that's very cool. Look at how fucking cool that looks. The frog. All right. Ooh. Here we go. Van Helsing. Okay, so that dude, that insane white card is Van Helsing. Okay. Mina Harker. Who's she? I'm not gonna know all these characters. Dracula, Blood Immortal. The 3 Weird Sisters. Love it. Love it. I love the Weird Sisters. Weird Sisters was actually one of my nicknames for like a really long time. One of my, like, how I put whiskey in my name now. I used to do like Weird Sister for like all of the things. My first World of Warcraft character was named Weird Sister. I mean, it wasn't my first one, but it was my first alliance. My druid. I named her Weird Sister because she had multiple faces. I like Weird Sister. I just think it's a really cool name, Weird Sister. Quincy Harker, John Seward. I don't like know any of these people. I don't know any of these characters. She helped fight Dracula? Okay. The little dog transforms too? It does. It gets wings. That's cute. Very cool. Very cool. I'm liking all of it. Some of the stuff is just absolutely fucking insane, and I'm pretty unhappy specifically with that green one. I'm unhappy specifically with this one, and I'm happy specifically with the other one that allows you to take an extra turn after this one. Like, do we really need it? What? Why? Anyway, I am exhausted. That was me talking for 4 hours straight almost. So I am definitely going to go to bed. And then on Thursday, we will play the set And I will probably draft it first, honestly, because I think that's the best way to start playing. Where I don't know what I'm going to play next. We just finished Gabriel Knight. I need to give it a good think as to what we're going to play next for like retro games. And Final Fantasy XIV has been delayed for 2 weeks, so I'm not going to... I've got to reset my time. I took time off to play that game on stream for the first week that it came out, but I'll figure it out, Jeff. I'll figure it out. Calm your tits. I'm not quite sure though. I'm not quite sure. But we're definitely going to be playing some draft first on Thursday, and then we'll, depending on how much fun I have in draft. I fucking love drafting, so I might end up doing it all night long. But if I don't, then we're gonna make some jank, because there is some jank in the set. There's some jank in the set, and I'm pretty excited for it. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming by. If you're on YouTube, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all on Thursday. Ciao.